Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Obviously Lucy is here and we're going to be going over this General's Handbook 2017. I noticed Craig Kablams is in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us, Craig. I know you're a big Sigmar fan. And Lizzie Salazar is also in. Hi, first comment. So we've had a quick look through. We've looked at some of the allegiance abilities that are relevant to us, not all of them. There's also the FAQs.
Yes.
And you're pretty pleased because not a lot changed for you.
No, I'm really happy for Stormcast and even me new army.
Yep. And Corn I'm pretty happy with. And Beast Claws not so much.
That's shocking.
The
main part of the Stormhorn is heart damage.
Yeah, so sorry about the traffic. It's very, very hot. It was like 22 degrees earlier, so the wind is open, so I apologise about the cars going past. First of all, though, before we go any further and start with a couple of shout-outs. First of all, if you would like to see battle reports 1 week early, please go and check us out on Patreon. We are on there, and you can see battle reports 1 week early. There's currently a battle report on there of Chaos versus Necrons, which I did with Phil, and I quite enjoyed using the Necrons this time. And I don't really normally like them. So yeah, that is on there, ready and available. What else? Blight War has been ordered.
Yes.
You're very excited for Neve.
I've seen her rules.
Yeah.
She's almost as good as Celestin.
Yeah. So Lucy and Phil are going to be splitting that box between them. So expect to see a lot more Stormcast. I think there'll be a lot more Age of Sigmar on the channel now that the new rulebook is out.
Yeah.
A lot of things changed. Points for battalions skyrocketed.
It's ridiculous.
Like, well, it is and it's not. Before, they were always an auto-include. And I'm sure Craig from Club Lambs will agree. Why not take a battalion? I mean, yours, the Ether Strike Force, for example, with the Raptors and the Ether Wings. Why would you not take that for 60 points?
That's true. But I've never been a fan of. You
weren't because you didn't like having to learn the additional rules.
Yeah. And then someone's saying you have to take this.
I never said that. I said try it.
And all the battalions saying you have to take this, and this. But I like to pick me. Almost, I like the ones that look better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So Stephen Dunn is in. Liz is a lizard. I'm totally thrilled by Fire Slayers. Yeah, Fire Slayers apparently got massive points reduction, and they've got their own command traits and everything now.
Have they?
Yep, because they didn't before, even though they've got a battle tome. I think that was one of the early ones, along with their Seraphon as well. So they weren't actually in there. Then they kind of had the ones in the middle, where like Sylvaneth and Beast Claws are in there, where they're kind of in the middle, so the points aren't in the back, but you still got your command traits and everything.
Yeah. But
then you got the newer ones from Tzeentch onwards. So your Stormcast, my Khorne, Phil's Caradhran's, and his Tzeentch. They're all the newer battle tomes with the points in, which are good. Phil's not happy about Caradhran's.
No.
And
they're just getting. How long ago did they come out?
A few months, probably April, May.
And then they've just been totally.
And it's not even like they've just FAQ'd a few things of it. They have totally changed the rules for nearly all of their units. The command traits that they get, I understand, aren't that great. The battalions, which they needed because of the cost of the boats, and the boats aren't that survivable. Basically, I don't know how usable they are anymore. Phil's not happy about it, basically.
He's not actually happy with a lot in there. I don't know whether it's just because of how bad they've nerfed Caradhran's, but he's just not impressed at all with the entire new rules.
No, he wasn't overly fussed about the missions and stuff that's in there. We picked this up yesterday, and he had a look through it whilst I was live streaming with Mikey from Hellstorm One Games. So yes, please go and check them out. Craig says my battalions doubled, and they weren't cheap to begin with, 80 and 100 points. Yeah, that Etherwing Strike Force of Lucy's was 60. Now it's 180. So yeah, the Hammer Strike went from 120 to 220.
What I have noticed though, a lot of the battalions have gone up, but some models that you would take with the common battalions have gone down.
Yeah.
So a lot of it evens out a little bit. But there's still some that are just Yeah.
Like my corn one, for example, bloodletters went up in points per 10, but because of the massive units, dropped to 270 for a unit of 30. So when I take 3 units of 30, it's actually costing me 70 points less, 90 points less than what it used to.
Yeah.
The bloodthirsters also came down in points, which means that I could probably run exactly the same army. Craig says mine doesn't even out. No, I know a lot don't.
What is Kaban player?
Craig plays Skaven.
Skaven.
Yeah. So the Beast Claw Raider stuff, most of it went down, which I'm pleased with. So
You got hit hard.
I did and I didn't. Thunder Tusks went up by 40 points, and I think everybody expected them to go up because people are like, oh, 6 mortal wounds, no. But as soon as Thunder Tusks take a wound, it drops to D6 and then D3 and then 1.
Yeah.
So, and they don't even move that fast. They move 8 inches when they're at full health.
True.
And they're not great in combat. They're not. Stonehorns are the combat monsters. Or were. They've FAQ'd Stonehorns so that instead of halving the damage you take, they've FAQ'd it to say half the damage of the weapon that hits the Stonehorn. Which means that if I'm hit with a damage 3 weapon and I take 2 wounds from it, it would do 6 wounds and you'd allocate 3 damage. Not anymore. They drop it so that you halve the damage of each attack.
The
So
damage output of
the damage output of the weapon, yeah. So the damage 3, like on your Celestin Prime, drops to 2 damage because it would be 1.5 round to 2. So those 2 wounds that go through would actually now do 4 damage. It also means that any 1 damage weapons do 1 wound per attack, which means that 10 single wounds from your Liberators would have done 5 wounds to me previously. Now it does the flat 10. So they're only half as survivable as what they were. Craig says they are an Alpha Strike army though, right? And weren't they very likely to go first? Beast Claws, yes, they were. They were very likely to go first because if you ran the Earlbad Battalion and a Scar, that was 2 drops. So absolutely, you really could go first, and a lot of people did. But if you've played Beast Claw Raiders, like I took your Raptors out with the Thunder Tusk in 1 go because obviously 6 wounds, 6 mortal wounds, 2+, bye-bye Raptors.
Yeah. Because
you had them on the deployment line. As soon as you realised she didn't deploy them on the line, you kept them 3 or 4 inches back from your deployment line so that even if I moved the 8 inches forward, I couldn't reach even with the range 18.
And what I did do as well, but we found out that was wrong. With Sonic of the Storm, I can set things up in the Celestial Realm. But I thought I could just, say if I've got in total 12 units, I could drop 2, deploy 2. And
say you were done.
And say I was done, and the rest were in the Celestial Realm.
But each one counts as a deployment. We learned that from 40k. But then we realised, obviously, that it's exactly the same in Sigmar. You deploy a unit. So yes, FAQ-wise, there were some silly questions. I thought you had a look at the order one. Not much changed for Stormcast. It was just clarifications on a lot of things. Some of the main rule ones, and I've got the main rule ones here. I'll read some of the ones out that were pretty accurate. Let's have a look. Monster can't go on a Balewind Vortex, which means for I don't even know any monster mages.
Treelord Ancient.
Treelord Ancients, yeah, so they can't go up on a Balewind. If your general is slain, can you choose a new model in your army to be the general? No.
That's very...
Okay. A lot of things about cover, and basically if one unit is spread out amongst 2 pieces of terrain, as long as it is all within a piece of terrain, then you still get the cover saved. I'm just looking at the pink stuff that's changed. Can they climb up scenery and trees and stuff? Yes, just count the movement. Oh, that's the massive one about the woods. Let's have a look. A lot of stuff about clarifying the order of modifiers. and the dice rolls.
That was one thing I was hoping they would clear up.
What's that?
Was the order of modifiers, because of when we were in with decimators, +2 at the battle shock.
Yeah.
But then for chaos, if you roll 1 for battle shock, you get D6 back.
If it's on a unit of I think that is in there somewhere. If you naturally roll a 1, you can still get the models back, but then it's a case of, do you lose the models then gain them back, or do you gain them then lose them?
Yeah.
That was the upper one. You and Graham actually had that situation.
Exactly.
Right, let's
in Warhammer World.
2 seconds. So bright. Sorry, where do I find the FAQ? It's on the Warhammer community page, or if you go onto Facebook and go to the Warhammer Age of Sigmar official page, it is on there. For one, it doesn't look like Harry's streaming from a dungeon. Once even. I don't know how, because I've always got the desk lamp on. So I don't know how it looks. Something's going on outside. I don't know why, because we always have this desk lamp on, and obviously I've got the big light up here. Might be because I'm normally pointing the table down. Squeak the Storm Vermin, hello. It's a real tired, got a load of foam for models, been plucking and fitting models. I've been looking at the Wanderers, they think they're an army in 40k. Another Wanderers good update. So, not that much really changed in the main rules FAQ. There was just very silly stuff being asked as well. One was, I don't think this one was that, but basically if you summon a Bilbin Vortex, you pay the reinforcement points for it. If you unsummon it, then re-summon it, do you have to use the points again? Yes, you need essentially 200 reinforcement points to do that. Yeah, it's just the middle of the night most times, and pointed at your hobby mat. Yeah, it is, in fairness. It's still light outside, and the reason I end up doing streaming later on is because I watch something. Ooh. I've started collecting Dark Elves recently. Malekith is here tomorrow. Very excited. Did you pick up the new Dark Coven, not Start Collecting box, but the Ally box? That looked really cool, actually. Anyway, without further ado...
With that,
what?
Squeak the Storm Vermin, will you send some pictures of them, your Dark Elves, to the Facebook page? I love Dark Elves.
Yep, post them on the Facebook page, please, so Lucy can see them. The Dark Elves, not Dark Eldar, but you still like the models though?
Yeah, did I say Dark Eldar?
No, you said Dark Elves.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, I'm just now looking at the awesome pictures on the back. So, there is a few things in here. We briefly looked over the other modes of play. The narrative missions look really cool. There's a lot of quirks and things and bits and pieces in there, so I think we're going to give quite a few of them a go. Yeah. But we picked up the open war cards.
Oh, I like it. Where are they?
There.
I had a little look through yesterday. It was a long day yesterday. I was very tired.
We went to Sheffield and we played Mikey from Hellstone Gaming. Phil played Dan, and you had a game of Age of Sigmar with Elliot.
Yeah, and it was a long day. I had a lot of painkillers, so I can't really remember much. But looking through them, I liked them, but I was more impressed with the pictures on the back of them.
Yeah, she liked some of the pictures.
No, but you will see them in due time.
So, Korg's cool on the back of some of them there. There, the twist card, she liked the back of them. Yes, the Witch Elves, Death Hag, and Bloodrack Medusa are in the Allied box, being procrastinating painting. Wait there. Can you talk about something about this for 2 minutes?
Okay. I'll talk about the cards. Basically, you get 5 different cards. You get a deployment deck, objective deck, twist deck, ruse deck, and a sudden death deck. And it says shuffle each of the decks at the beginning of your game. Draw the top card from each of the deployment, objective, and twist decks and place them face up so that both players can see them. Place the runes in the sudden death deck to one side for the moment. They may be needed after the 2 armies have set up. He's not buying any more models, remember?
Need some from the ogres. So, yeah, they were a bargain. £45 for 2. Whereas before they were 32.50 for one. So yeah. Anyway, we've rabbited on quite a bit there. Obviously, we are going to have a look in the handbook. I'm interested to know what your thoughts are, in particular Craig Kablams, because he loves his Skaven, he loves his Age of Sigmar. What army are the allies for? Ogres or Beast Claws, whichever one I decide to run at the time. I just love the models, and that's why I want one. I thought I read the rules, and I thought the rules were hilarious. You played against one.
I have, and it was fun to play against.
Because if you charge and you roll a double, he falls over.
He stumbles and falls, and when he dies, he falls, and you've got to roll to see which direction he falls, and he just goes.
And models under it suffer mortal wounds, which is hilarious. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting them built and painted. So, what do you? I might get those and put them on my with my Spire Riders. Yeah, they're only 170 points a giant as well, and you can take up to 400 points as allies.
Yeah.
So the allies matrix is I say matrix. It is cool. It is cool. It basically, in particular for you, for Stormcast, means that you can get a mage in.
Yeah.
Which means.
Funny enough, I have mages in my new army.
Yes, you do. Yes, she does. If you haven't seen on the Facebook page, I don't know if I did. Post pictures. So I need to add some water effects to them, but these are the bases for Lucy's new army. Liz is off. No worries. Thanks very much for coming in. So yeah, Craig, what's your thoughts on the points changes, in particular the battalions as well, and the allies? Because I think the allies is a very good, it's a good thing to give an army what it's missing. So like I said, you with your Stormcast.
Yeah. Because
you've only got Veritant that can stop spells.
And he sucks because he's got to be within 6 inches.
Isn't it 12?
To unbind to Veritant, it's 6 inches.
That's insane.
And it's only 1 per turn. So there's no point taking them unless you're only going against an army that has got 1 mage.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, like, I know one of the allies boxes actually had 4 of the. You could just take 4 of the Arcana mages, which was quite cool. But your new army's got some other stuff. They don't benefit from your allegiance abilities, so I'm wondering, do they benefit from the grand allegiance abilities? So, for example, if I run my new Gutbusters as Gutbusters to get me Lead Belchers and Iron Guts to be battle line, if I take the Giants, I have to use the Destruction Grand Allegiance. Do the Giants still benefit from the Grand Allegiance because they are still Destruction? That's what I want to know, because basically, that's going to make a massive difference to my army, because if I can't run Gutbusters with Aelga's allies, but still run them all under Destruction to get the command traits, can I still do that? Mm-hmm. The battalion points really hurts my army. The battalions made them viable, so losing them hurts. The allies are good though. The allegiance stuff is good. Pestilence didn't have any before. Yeah, it's great that they've gone back and actually revisited a lot of the other armies.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit disappointed that there's no abilities for Gutbusters, and I was going to suggest a different colour, but it's up to you.
Oh. Sorry.
Just use a thick brush and wash it off. Yeah, just absorb it all up. Sorry, Lucy's running ahead with painting there. She's painting the Dracloth up in a different colour scheme, and I suggested using a wash, and she just started with a different one. If you run Destruction battle lines, you can play them under Destruction, yeah. No, what it is, Craig, is basically if I run Gutbuster Allegiance, I can take Lead Belches and Iron Guts as my battle line, but they are not battle line normally. If I do that to use them as my battle line, and then ally in the Giants, do the Giants still benefit from the Grand Alliance Destruction because I would be still using the Grand Alliance Destruction traits anyway. If that makes sense, that's really hard to explain. Basically, Lead Belchers 9 Guts aren't battle line unless you run Gutbuster Allegiance. But there's no Gutbuster Allegiance traits, there's only Destruction traits. If that makes sense.
Anyway.
So, different modes of play. We started with the narrative stuff there about the open war cards and everything.
Yeah.
So, I think we're definitely going to look into that. The match play is fun and it's cool. But I think a lot of the time, if we're just playing in the house and stuff, I think we'd rather have more fun games.
Yeah.
The other 6 battle plans got boring quick, which is I think why we haven't really played that much recently.
And I've read, basically I've read all the stuff in Stormcast.
It was Gates of Azir that you read as well, wasn't it?
I've got the second book in the War Realms, so it's in.
And your new Battle Tome.
Yep. So we're gonna do more narrative play because I know the stories, and we can create our own little battles as well, following on from the stories. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
She knows more about Khorne than what I do because she's read Gates of Azir and the Stormcast novel, the book that comes with the game. It's basically the shortened version of Gates of Azir.
Yeah.
Gates of Azir is the novel. So Craig says he would think that I would still benefit from the Destruction Allegiances. I want to play some siege games, need to make some Skaven terrain. Absolutely. It looks fantastic. I've only seen the pictures that are in the book. Justin's got one of the old fantasy castles up at Battle Bunker as well. So I think that might actually be quite cool. I think you've seen it. It's on like the cobblestone road table.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a siege game in that might be quite cool. Now, I was actually going to get onto the siege games in a bit, but yeah, the narrative games look really, really cool. You've then got basically there's loads of different ways to play. There's one here that's like I can't even think what it's called. It's called the Beast Run, and it's basically like a gauntlet, and you've got to get from one side to the other.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah. So there's some really, really cool ones in there for that.
There's the old match play ones. They are still in there, but they've
amended them.
Added a bit more, changed.
Yeah. So the siege games look really cool. For example, there's a picture there of the Sylvaneth, just using woods as what's being sieged upon. The Khorne Castle would be brilliant. If it wasn't for the fact it would probably cost you like
I think we worked out about just under £500 for the lot. Me and the bloke yesterday.
The outpost when we went down. Yeah. Even for like 3 or 4 pieces, which doesn't get you that much, it's like £60 or £80 per piece. Craig says that sounds amazing. Do you mean the Gauntlet Run one? I presume we've got the handbook already. It's page 50. But yeah, I think the siege ones will be quite cool. Like Craig says as well, if you can get the terrain to match.
Definitely. Like
the Stormcast, you can probably use the ruins and the Dragonfit dice and stuff we've got, but again, we haven't really got loads of that, have we?
No, but I did pick us up some more scenery yesterday there for
the mausoleum. Yep, so Lucy got the mausoleum. I'm going to let her paint it. Yeah.
As long as you build it.
Going to make a set of rickety wooden walls for siege. Absolutely. You know what might be good actually? When you go in the pound shop and stuff in sort of about March time, and you go in the garden section and they've got the border edging, but it's like bamboo. But it's all kind of stuck together with a wire. Cut that in half and use that. That would make some like really, really cool line of sight blocking walls as well.
Yeah.
So I think that would be quite cool. So yeah, the Siege has a few different extra rules. It's a total different way of playing. So it's exciting. I'm really looking forward to giving that a go. There you go. There's the Stormcast in a couple of Ophidian archways and Numinous Oculars.
Oh yeah.
So I'll hold that up. I'll hold it up high enough this time. Craig says, great thrift shop idea. Honestly, right, there's £3 shops next to where I work, and I go in most lunchtimes when I'm out, and I just pick up random bits and pieces. I hoard them. So yeah, there's a number of different ones there for Siege as well. Internet just crashed. Apparently a potato with wires classifies as BT Wi-Fi. Yeah, I absolutely don't blame you. I've been having problems with mine actually. I'm with TalkTalk, and the past couple of times I've tried to upload a battle report, it's just basically stuck. Normally I finish editing on the night, I press render, I go to bed, I get up, I press upload, and I go to work, but it crashes, and I don't know why.
The amount of times he's been on the phone to them, and they've finally realised there's a fault on the line in the big box thing on the street.
Yeah, in the exchange. So hopefully I should have that fixed on Friday. But yeah. In the FAQs, in fact, that's what I want to see. On Facebook, Age of Sigmar put up a list of things, 7 things that you may have missed in the General's Handbook 2017. So we'll take a quick look at that before we dive into the match to play. As soon as it loads, where are we at? There we go. 7 things you may have missed in the General's Handbook 2017. Number 1, monsters, monsters, monsters. There are loads of ways to add more some monsters to your monstrous might to your games of Age of Sigmar now. With allies battling out on the shores of the Gnawing Sea, summon onto the board with a Bray Shaman. I'll try a look with a Beast Run scenario where 2 armies have to flee through a pack of angry monsters. So that's all really good.
Yeah, that's what else? They can get a way to go an extra monster in your army through the alliance.
Yep, absolutely. Like what I'm doing with the Giants, because they classify as monsters. Triages, Siege Warfare is an exciting new way to play Warhammer Age of Sigmar. You might not know it, but you can use any scenery. And actually, it feels like they've almost put that in because they pulled Path to Glory out.
Yeah.
We haven't looked at the Path to Glory because we didn't feel we'd played enough Sigmar or had enough models in our collections to viably run it.
Yeah, we haven't.
Well, you probably do for Stormcast, but I haven't got enough corn painting to run it, and Beast Claws, like, it'll be way too hard to do that. So yeah. Chariots everywhere. In the new General's Handbook, you'll be able to fill your battle line slot in many armies with chariots of all shapes and sizes. We think a pack of beast hunting Scourge Runner chariots makes for a thematic and powerful Scourge Privateers army. It does. Phil was a little bit disappointed that he still has to take the Herald on Chariot to get his chariots to be battle line. But never mind. Revisit the classics, so Wanderers, Dispossessed, Free People, Grey Herd, Slaves to the Darkness and everything. Also have their own allegiances now, which is really good. Sad face, because Ogres haven't got theirs.
I think, though, seeing as they haven't, I reckon there's going to be something big for them coming soon.
Nah, there won't be. They're an old army, unfortunately. Slanesh got 3.
Just with the Giants being reboxed coming out, I just think possibly.
It is possible, yeah, but we'll see. I think because they're trying to basically wrap them into the Beast Claw Ogres and get rid of the normal Ogres. So loads of named characters got massive points reduction. So Gordrak got a points reduction. Gordrak was insane anyway. Nagash got a points reduction.
He never.
Nagash got a points reduction. But you can't complain because Stardrake got a points reduction as well.
Oh, he did. He did.
That's also the wrong coloured wash for that. You normally use sepia.
Oh, never
mind. Coalitions of Death, that's what I was going to say. So Coalitions of Death basically says you can have 2-on-2 games, but basically each player would do their spells, each player would fight 1 unit each, and then the opponents obviously. And we actually did that when we did that Lizardmen and
yeah, we did.
And Stormcast versus Ancient Corn game. We basically said, right, me and Phil would attack with one at each of our units and then one each of yours. But then when Phil ran out of units in combat, then I could choose 2 to fight.
So I reckon Games Workshop watched that battle report, thought, yeah, that's actually really good.
Yeah.
So they right, we'll put it in.
So let's have a quick look. I feel sorry for anyone who can't get Virgin Media broadband.
Same here, Kablam. That's what I've got at home, and it is awesome. The only thing
I don't even know if I can get it actually.
I don't think you can. I don't know.
I've got cable is here because I've got cable internet.
Well, then you can.
But I'm with TalkTalk. But I've been with them for like 5 years and I've never had a problem until like the last few weeks. Anyone considering Exalted Greater Demons of Zinch Khan, Nagel Sanesh? Hellpit Abomination is now only 20 points more than the Skaven Warlord. Ridiculous. Yeah, the Hellpit Abominations look like an abomination. I haven't looked at... When you say the Exalted Greater Demons, they're the named Forge World ones, aren't they? I haven't looked at any of the rules for them. I heard the Zinch one is broken for 40k for the points. But yeah.
Anything Zinch is broken. So.
Not everything. So... I had a look through the rules for matched play, okay? And the... I don't even know what it's called.
Oh.
The Force Organization chart. Basically, for 2,000 points, it still says you can have 1 to 6 heroes, 3+ battle line, up to 4 artillery, up to 4 behemoths, any number of other units, and you can spend 400 points on allies. So you can spend 20% of your total points. Now 400 points can still get you quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, for example, what could you take? I think Magma Droths are under 400 if you want the Fire Slayer Magma Droth in there. I don't even know how far back the points are in the book.
Oh, I'm just going to tell you now, my new army. Sylvanas.
She's got Sylvanas.
I have Sylvanas.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna Stormcast a pink and purple. So mostly purple and pink. So mostly purple with a touch of pink. My Stormcast are gonna be mostly pink with a touch of purple. So they're gonna fit in.
You mean your Sylvanas?
Yeah, Sylvanas. So they're gonna fit in lovely so that they're gonna be my allies as well.
So basically the models are gonna be brown and pink and the bases are gonna be purple with a few bits of purple in the trees themselves, so like the tree revenants and stuff,
yep.
They're going to glow purple. The swells in the tree lords and stuff, they're going to be purple.
Yep.
But the leaves and all the tops of them and everything are going to be pink.
Yes.
So, interesting stuff. And guess who's painting them?
And he, because I've worked a list out already, and it includes a vortex, and he straight away offered he's going to build a treehouse style vortex. It's going to be exactly the same size as the original one.
Yeah.
But he's going to do a special one for me.
And obviously, whenever she plays, she'll have the original one there. Because most, especially when we play on the channel, people aren't going to be bothered. But if she goes and plays somewhere else, somebody, you know, some people do get a bit arsey. And they want to see, you know, they want to use the proper one. So she's got the proper one as well anyway.
Yeah.
Because you bought that a while back when you bought the Midrath throne as well.
Yep.
So yeah. So Squeak the Stormworm says, yeah, the Slanesh and Zinch ones are both amazing. I put one of my pet rats next to the Hellpit Abomination. The Hellpit isn't so tough in real life. Wow. So you literally do love rats. If you haven't seen it, Squeak Vermin, I did put a Skaven battle report the other day. It was Michael's first game of Age of Sigmar. So we did get a couple of things wrong. And it'd been a while since I'd played, so I made a few mistakes and stuff as well. But it's still, I feel it was still pretty good, and it was a really fun game. So yeah, please go and check that out if you haven't already. So, rules of 1. They've amended them slightly. There's 2 more, and they've amended 1 of them. I saw that. Horned One is pleased. Right, so each spell can only be attempted once, so Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, things like that. Even if a model has an ability that says it can cast the same spell more than once, I think like Nagash can cast the same spell 3 times.
So you can't now. So
you can't match player. That was always there before. This is one that is slightly amended. So A roll of a 1 to hit, wound, or save always fails, which we knew anyway. But by the same token, a roll of a 6 to hit or wound always succeeds. In both cases, this applies to the roll after any rerolls, but before any modifiers are applied. But I am under the impression that I've seen the Warhammer Sigmar page reply to it. So, for example, if you've got, I think, Clan Rats hit on 5s, if they charge Grimm's Boob Snake, which is -2 to hit it, then a 6 would still count as a hit.
Right. So no matter what, no matter how many minus to hit, if you roll a 6,
it still hits, yes. That is the way I understand it. It doesn't quite read like that here. That's the way that I think a lot of the public have interpreted and the way that Games Workshop responded. So we've got the third rule of 1. Any extra attacks, hit rolls, or wound rolls gained by use of an ability cannot themselves generate extra attacks, hit rolls, or wounds. So, for example, Blessed Weapons with Relic Tech.
Yeah.
On a 6 to hit, you generate an extra attack. But if Lucy rolled 1 6, then rolled an additional attack, and then rolled another 6, you can't roll a third dice as a result of that.
That was quite cool.
The Skaven Warlord is 220 points now, very overpriced. Is that the little model that Michael had in his game that was in the centre of the Verminus battalion that held it all together? That's ridiculous. Considering a Bloodthirst is now 260 points. Anyway, additional rules of 1. You cannot re-roll or modify the roll at the start of each battle round that determines who chooses the player that takes the first turn. Now that's interesting because I know Rachel from Wargamer Online, she uses Lord Croak quite a lot and he lets you re-roll stuff. And she used to manipulate the turns like that. So if she absolutely needed a turn, she would re-roll it. So that you can't do that now. I think I seen a post in the Wargamer Online community page about it, but I can't remember. The fifth rule of 1, and this is interesting. I mean, you didn't do it anyway, but I did with Beast Claws. No artifact of power or similar item can be taken more than once in the same army. I used to take 2 Pelt of Changars.
You did.
Now I can't. So not only is the Stonehorn easier to kill,
It's harder to heal.
It's also harder to heal him as well. So, what else have we got? Where was the house rule thing? There it is. So all the battle plans have changed, which we'll have a look into in a second. The triumphs for being under points is still the same. So reroll wounds, reroll hits, or reroll saves, depending on what you roll. This one was an interesting house rule. Okay, now I don't think it would be allowed at tournaments, but another popular house rule is to work out the cost of each individual model in an understrength. In an understrength unit. I need to find where understrength units are.
I thought it was just underpointed armies.
I think I've misread this. 2 seconds. So another popular house rule is to work out the cost of each individual model in an understrength unit, rather than rounding the cost up for the unit. For example, if you wish to field a unit of 3 Liberators without paying the full unit cost, a full strength unit has 5 models. That cost will be 100 points and therefore 20 points per model. This means that the cost of a unit with 3 models is 60 points. I thought it was the other way, so if you've got 20 points left over, you could have taken an extra Liberator.
That's what I thought.
That's the way I read it, but it was about 10 o'clock last night when we looked at it after we just getting back from Sheffield.
I'm guessing that's not what it means.
No, it's not. It's basically, if you've only, like say you have 28 Liberators, you would pay the points for 28 rather than 30.
I think that's good because I would rather take an extra couple. I don't know.
You can't do it the way that you think, unfortunately. Understrength less models than minimum. Yeah. I thought it was the other way, Craig. So like in 40k where you take a unit of 5 Marines, if you've got like 14 points spare, you're gonna add another Marine. But it's not like that, unfortunately. I thought that's what that was. No, I was really excited about that last night. Never mind. So, let's have a look at the battle plans for matched play. So, we've got Knife to the Heart, which is essentially Taken Hold. But, the thing is with Taken Hold, I found, is because you're 6 foot wide board, you've got an objective in the middle. On both, in both deployment zones. Your entire army was basically here and charged forward. What they've done now is they've done corner deployment. So I'll just hold this up for the camera. And the objectives are on either side, if you can see there. So what it means is, yes, you can still go, pretty far straight forward, but you've still got loads of space. You're going to use a lot more of the table than what you did with straightforward deployment.
Because you're right, in Taken Hold, it was literally a straight line in the centre. That's the entire mission.
Yeah.
The entire game.
You could have played it on a 2 foot by 4 foot board. So I don't think the victory conditions for this have changed. The player controls an objective if at the end of any turn they have 5 or more models from any number of units in their army within 6 inches of the objective, if there are no enemy models within 6 of it. A unit can only help control 1 objective at a time. That is the thing that's changed.
Yeah.
So if you had a unit of 30 bloodletters spread out before, I could control 2. But now they're saying you can only control 1 objective at a time. That used to be in 7th edition 40k as well. And it's not in 8th currently. You can spread out and control more than 1 because it just states more models than your opponent.
Yeah.
So I think that will probably end up going in chapter approved. Because what they're doing is they're going to bring out an update book with more scenarios and stuff in just before Christmas. So I think they'll include rules like that in.
Yeah.
At the minute as well, in 40k, whoever sets up first chooses who goes first.
Yeah.
What the ITC have done and what chapter approved we're going to do is whoever sets up first, +1 to your dice roll, and your dice off, and whoever wins the dice off goes first, or chooses who goes first. So like yesterday in our battle report, me and Mikey both rolled a 3. But because he finished setting up first, he had +1, so he counted as rolling a 4. So he chose to go first.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice that I do agree with it, but then I don't in some respects, because if you turn up to a game and your opponent's got 4 knights, that's 4 drops. But then if you're like, say I'm playing Michael with Orcs, he's going to have like 9, 10, 12 drops easily. And it means that he's not just going to stand there and take a battering from the knights. He still could potentially go first. What they have said, though, is you cannot command point re-roll that.
Yes. Which I didn't anyway. I didn't think you could anyway.
Well, you can re-roll seize the initiative. But you can't command point re-roll that.
I don't think you should be able to.
Well, command point re-roll seize the initiative.
Or command point roll for turn 1. I just don't think.
I agree with the turn 1, but seize the initiative. Sometimes you've got to weigh up. Is it worth the chance?
Yeah.
If you tuned in and watched the live stream yesterday with me and Mikey on Hellstorm Wargaming, he command point re-rolled and stole on me on the re-roll. And he took the Warlord trait where if you spend the command point, roll a dice, and on a 5 or more, you get the command point back.
I like that. That's
Ultramarines. So if you want to play red Ultramarines with my Primaris stuff, you're more than welcome to. So yeah, the next one is Total Conquest, and it's basically the old mission Border War. Not Border War, Blood and Glory, where you count as holding objectives even if you move off them. So let's have a quick look. Player controls an objective if at the end of a turn they have a... No, I read this bit and I was like, what? No. But keep reading. So if they have a unit of 20 or more models from their army within 6 inches of the objective and the enemy does not, or, failing that, if they have more models from their army within 6 inches of the objective than enemy models. So basically it's still the old way. Kablams. I thought they classified that the stratagems had to be used in game phases and the seize the initiative isn't a phase. Might be wrong. If Games Workshop did that, I'm not sure. Squeak the Storm Vermin is going to be off to eat microwave ramen. No worries, mate. Have fun. The guys at No Retreat are saying that you can command point reroll seize the initiative, but not who is going first. Charming. So yeah, the rest of Total Conquest, a unit can only help to control one objective at a time. Now, some of the two of the objectives are only 24 inches apart. So if you've got a big enough unit, you could have controlled both. But obviously, like I said, they've changed it to state that you can only have the one. An objective remains under a player's control until the enemy is able to gain control of it, even if the capturing models later move away. So basically, you can move through. You can stop within 6 of it at the end of your turn, score it, and then move on to another one. As long as your opponent can't get back to that, you still count as holding it.
Yeah.
You score 1 point at the for each objective you control at the end of each of your turns. So this is a little bit different because before you had to control at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So it's 1 point at the end of each turn. You receive a bonus victory point if you seized the objective during the turn if it was previously controlled by the enemy. You plant your flag. I'm not sure what that means, Craig, so I'm sorry. Let's have a look. The player with the most victory points at the end of the 5th battle round or allocated time wins a major victory. The players are tied on victory points. Then you add up the total value of the units destroyed, so it's back to kill points. So yeah, the only thing I don't like about Total Conquest is the setup. That is utterly ridiculous to try and set up. Oh, so if you move away, it's still yours. Yes, it is. That is atrocious. If you've got a Realm of Battle board, it's not so bad because the Realm of Battle boards are divided into 6 squares, so you can literally just half them like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, trying to set that up, that's
silly.
I like the game type, but the deployment is stupid.
You'd always make your own deployment zones up, suppose, and then still take the.
Absolutely could. The next one we've got is Duality of Death, and it's a little bit like what was it called? 3 Places of Power. So your deployment zone is still front to back, but you're 12 inches away from the side edges. You only needs to map it out the red border. The other line is the distance, right? Yeah, that's right. So the really dark red one is your deployment zone. So if you've got a Realm of Battle board, you can, where's it at here? So you can see each one here is a square. So basically you can use one whole square with the corner chopped off, half of the next square, and then obviously you've got the back 6 inches there, which is a bit daft. It's not even the back 6 inches. Hang on. It's 3 inches. Yeah, it's 3 inches in the 3rd square. So what were we on? We were on Duality of Death. So it's basically like 3 Places of Power, but modified a bit. So a player controls an objective if a hero or behemoth from their army is within 3 inches of the objective at the start of any move. Only one hero or behemoth can control an objective at a time. If more than one hero is eligible, then the first to arrive controls it. So you have to think about who is getting there first. Mm-hmm. You're going to want your strongest one there first to control it for longer. Because even if you've got other heroes there, if a hero or behemoth slays an enemy hero or behemoth that was controlling the objective, then they immediately gain control of it if they are within 3.
Even if there's another enemy hero or behemoth nearby.
That's right. So you've really got to think, like if I've got a Bloodletter demon hero, I think it's a Herald, and a Bloodthirster, And if I run my Bloodletter hero onto the objective first, then my Bloodthirster, you've only got to kill the Bloodletter hero to take control of it. So you've got to make sure that you put the one that you want there first. And of course, I want the Bloodthirster there first. Craig says you only need. Oh, some reviewers were discussing mapping out the curves. Was it the Long War? Because or was it on the Warhammer page? So yeah, you score 1 point at the end of the turn that you gain control of the objective, 2 at the end of the second turn, and so on whilst you control it. So obviously the longer you can control it, the better. So if I can get a Bloodthirster onto one and bubble wrap them with 60 Bloodletters,
yeah,
good luck getting it. Oh wait, you can shoot.
But still, 60 Bloodletters went. I'm not getting a hero near that.
No.
Let's Star Trek.
Because he does eat hordes. So yeah, the next mission we've got is Battle for the Pass. And this is the old Border War mission. The one where they're in a diamond and you score 4 points at the end of your turn if you hold your opponents, 2 for the ones on the halfway line, and 1 for your own. The only thing that they've done with this is they've changed it to hammer and anvil deployment. So you don't know the names, but basically Dawn of War was using the short sides, the long sides. Yeah. Hammer and Anvil is what me and Mikey played last night, where you play the table lengthways.
Yes.
Other than that, I can't see anything that's actually changed in that. Everything else looks pretty much the same. So it's nice that they changed the deployment types, because most of them, can't remember who, someone on an off day, I'm guessing they weren't very happy about it. The next one is Star Strike, which is basically Gift from the Heavens. And again, not much for this has changed apart from so 1 fragment of Star Ore strikes the border between the 2 players' territories in the second battle round, and then 2 more crash in the third round, 1 in each player's territory. So roll a dice and refer to the map to determine which fragment lands on a roll of a 3 or a 4. It lands in the center. I'll show you the map anyway. So basically, you have to have more models than your opponent within 3 of this one. Notice some of them are 6, some of them are 3. 20 plus model units are obsec. Right, yeah, I understand what you're saying now. So because it says and failing that, with the, was it Total Conquest? Battle for the Pass. Yeah, Battle for the Pass. So basically, if you've got a unit of 20 models on an objective, even if your opponent has 22 models over 4 units, the 20-man unit counts as controlling it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because they seem to be really pushing hordes.
They do. That's what I was thinking.
Because of the discount. I mean, you've got a lot of Liberators, right? But the max unit size for Liberators is 30.
Yeah.
You've got 30, but they're mixed weapons, so you couldn't combine them. Which, plus it would only count as 1 battle line.
Yeah.
So.
And this fits in well with something I said the other day. Games Workshop seem to be pushing armies with a high model counts. So a lot of these are fitting into them.
The reason I have so many Bloodletters is because when you went to your first ever tournament back in February when Battle Bunker opened, and I took my Khorne, and I just took stuff like I took 2 Bloodthirsters, I took Blood Crushers, and Blood Crushers aren't great. It's 160 points for 3, and do you know what I mean? They're not amazing. And I ended up playing Anth, who you've played against since. And Anth plays goblins and squigs, doesn't he?
Yeah.
How many goblins and squigs did Anthony have in 2,000 points?
200?
About 200 goblins. And I was like, I ended up playing Border War with him. And it was just like, Anth, there's no way I can even control 1 objective. I cannot kill enough. Even killing like 10, 20 models. And then battle shotgun like another 10. I couldn't kill them fast enough. And I was just like, right, next tournament, I'm turning up with 120 Bloodletters.
And he did.
And I did. Painted and based. I'm not sure whether KO have any 30 model units. KO, do you mean?
Carriage Overlords.
Carriage Overlords. Yes, they do, but they don't get a discount, which is another thing that Phil raged at, because he was like, well, hang on, why does every other army get a discount for maxing out the units, but we don't? And I just realised I'm going to turn the camera slightly because we're sitting too far apart. Get us both on.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was Battle for the Pass anyway. Star Strike. So, there we go. Star Strike. So what you do is on turn 2, on a 1 or 2 it lands there, on a 3 or 4 it lands there, and on a 5 or 6 it lands there. Then for turn 3, you basically right the one in your opponent's deployment zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the same again in yours. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So technically, you could end up with them all down the middle. You could end up with like 1 at one side and 2 in the middle. You know what I mean? So it's nice. It's a little bit different. It looks like a massive bookkeeping issue, but I think once you play it, it's not going to be too bad. The next one's Scorched Earth, which I quite like the sound of this one.
I can't remember it.
You were pretty much asleep when I was still reading this one. So, Scorched Earth is one objective in each of the 6 squares, right in the centre.
Right.
You score 1 victory point if you have more models from your army within 3 of it. So again, they're alternating between 3 and 6 inches, so you've really got to be careful when you're playing these. A unit can only control 1 objective at a time. Each player scores 1 victory point at the end of each of their turns for each objective that they control. So you can control your opponents, you can control yours. You score 1 point for each one. That's still a bit hard. There we go. And it's slowly falling. I really wish I'd get a proper tripod camera rather than just having the blue tack at the top of me. It's still moving, but there we go. Fixed, I think. So what you can do is if you control your opponents, you can choose to score 1 point, or you can destroy it and score D3 victory points instead, but then you can't score it in subsequent turns.
Yeah.
But in the same aspect, neither can your opponent. So if you get one of your opponents and you think, right, I've got Star Drake here, I've got a unit of 20 Liberators.
If you can guarantee to keep it, it's not worth blowing up just yet.
No, so if you know you can hold it for 2 turns, right, even if they got the double turn straight after you, then it's worth scoring the 1 point, keeping hold of it, and then potentially scoring D3 the turn after. So that's a cool game. I do like some of these because I didn't like the escalation mission. We never even played that.
No.
Keeping stuff in reserve and bringing it on, it was just...
I didn't actually even look that up. Escalation.
Most people didn't play it. Justin didn't use it in any of the tournaments because of it's just awkward. Okay, doc. I'll just let Lucy out. Oh, was that your hips?
Yeah.
Be careful. Right, so pitch battle profile. So the massive regiments thing is a thing that's changed. So if it's got a slash, so point slash and then a big one, the big point number is for the maxed out unit size. I'm not going to go through all the changes. Loads of things got massive point changes, but like I said, I'm not going to go through it all. There's way too much to go through. I will highlight obviously some of the armies that me and Lucy play and Phil. I can't talk about Lisbon because I didn't know the points for them because I've only played Liam's a few times. Skull Cannons for Corn, for example, went down to 160. It's nice that they went down, but they're still not worth 160 points. Blood Letters went up to 110 for 10, but from max unit went down to 270, which is great. Blood Reavers, 70 points for 10. 70 was originally an increase in the Blades of Corn book, but now you can take 40 for 240. Blood Warriors of Khorne, 520 for a maxed out unit of 30. Julian Farnan. Hey ho, my partner thinks this is not live. Her name is Roxanne. Can you tell her to leave me to finish painting? Roxana, can you please leave Julian to finish his painting, please? And Julian, I will agree to do that again in a moment or two if you post pictures to the Dark Artisan Facebook page, please. Craig says, have you seen the Fire Slayer's huge regiment points? No, I have not, but I will get to them in a few moments. So what else have we got? A lot of the characters went down for Khorne. The Bloodthirsters all went down. The Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster went down to 330. The Unfettered Fury is now only 260. Like, Unfettered Fury Bloodthirster is brilliant when he hits. But then we get to the battalions, and the Blood Host of Khorne is the one that I used to run. For 80 points, you can have D3 units fight in the hero phase. It is now 220 points. That is insane. However, the Council of Blood is only 110. I don't know what it was before, but that definitely seems pretty cool. There was one that Richard from Newcastle Warlords normally plays, and it used to be 20 points, and it basically let you move 2d6 at the start of your turn. What was the Channel Host Council Blood? I don't know which one it was. The Murder Host. That's now 120 points. Ali Bongo! Ali, Ali, Ali. Oi, oi, oi. Hope you haven't been out drinking all night like you were at the NWO. Interestingly enough, Chaos Gargants. 170. So I think that's basically the same giant. So technically, I could take a giant in my Chaos army, which would be cool. But if I was going to do that, I would definitely want it to be converted. Ali, not quite. What? You had an hour's sleep then, did you? Skaven stuff. Right. I'm going to go over some of the Skaven stuff. Craig, I know you've got a lot of Skaven. You've probably looked into this a hell of a lot more than what I have. So if you want to provide any insight, because of the delay, obviously, I won't pick everything up as you type it immediately. So I apologise. But yeah, please give any insight that you've got. I don't think many people play Eshin or Molder. I know Pestilence, Skyer, and Verminous are the big ones. So Pestilence, the Plague Furnace went to 200 points. I don't know what that was previously. In fact, give me a second, I'll get the old General Handbook. Whilst Lucy jumps in. Okay, so the old points, I do Pestilence, I know, and you do them very well. So, Plague Furnace, where are we at, where are we at?
Did you show it to Roxanne?
I did. So the Plague Furnace was 220, so it went down. I'm guessing you're pleased about that. Molder got Rat Ogres as battle lines. The Furnace dropped 20 points. It did. Yeah, but obviously you've got to have battle line Molder. So basically, Giant Rats and Rat Ogres become your battle line. So obviously you're going to need a lot of models. So if you look there, Rat Ogres are 120 points for 2. I don't even think you can get them outside of the Spire of Dawn box. And then the Giant Rats, 200 points for 40. So points-wise, you can fill your battle line very quickly, but you need an insane amount of models. I have a few pictures, but not social media, just direct mails. Drop them to the email address up above, and I'll post them on the Facebook page. It says there, I think. To donate via PayPal if you wish to gift any donations, or if you wish to share any pictures, please send them there and I'll post them on. Oh, so it is that side. Oh no, it is that side.
What's he sending pictures of?
I'm not sure. I didn't ask, but basically, this is where he's painting instead of Roxana bothering him. So yeah. As Craig says, yeah, it's nice for the guys who want to run ogres. They weren't battle line before. Yeah, absolutely. So, Plague Monks, massive regiment. So it was 70 points for 10 previously. You can now take 40 for 240 points. Now, Michael brought 20 against me, and you did the first ever game that Michael played when he just getting his models and they weren't even painted. You played against them, and the Plague Monks were horrendous.
Then that took out the unit of Decimators.
They are, yeah. So what Michael did is he used the command trait for +1 to hit against them. So I think they were hitting on 3s, re-rolling because Plague Monks. But then he used the power from the Plague Furnace to give them +1 to wound, or re-roll wounds. And that was pretty brutal. It was horrible. I have 40 now, Plague Monks are filthy. Yes, I saw, and you also magnetized all of them. And you are insane for doing that, because I wouldn't do that. Just the arms on one of the Plague Monks, right? He magnetized, he drilled and put a magnet in both arms and the body of each rat.
Why?
Lucy doesn't understand my obsession with magnetization, but you were very grateful for the Dracothian Guard being done.
Definitely, yes.
Because otherwise you'd have spent 160 on 4. Well, 8 models for 4 units. So
yeah.
she was grateful for that. Even without the buffs, they are beasts. Absolutely. I don't know anything about Clan Skya other than Warp Lightning Cannons being horrible. The Warp Fire Thrower teams, Michael had 4 of them. They're now 70 points. They used to be... They were 60 points, so they've gone up by 10. Which I think they needed, because on a 2+ he did D6 mortal wounds to me.
How much? 70 points?
They were 60. Oh. So yeah, they've gone up. Each unit of 10 monks can take 5 upgrades, and you want 20 of them in a unit for 40, hence magnet. Yeah, absolutely. Because he had a banner, then he had the horns, and the banner gave him something, the horns gave him something else. Then he had the War Scroll, which he could pick a unit within 13 to reroll wounds against anyway, once the Plague Furnace was out of range.
Yeah.
And it was just ridiculous. Oh, that was it. So on a 6 to hit or to wound, you would roll another dice. And if you rolled a 6 with that additional dice, you would cause a mortal wound. So any 6s you roll to wound, you would roll them dice again and cause a mortal wound in addition. So
every army seems to have that. If you roll a certain number, it does a mortal wound in addition.
Yeah, Retributors don't.
No, Stormcast.
Just 2 mortal wounds if you roll a 6.
Or 1 mortal wound or whatever, or an extra thingy. But it's never in addition. It's always instead of.
Sean Blake's just joined us, and Julian has sent over a few pictures. I'll get them uploaded straight after the stream. Very welcome to the stream, Sean. We've been over the General's Handbook. We've discussed some of the new scenarios. We've discussed a little bit of the FAQ.
Yep.
We're currently discussing points before we move on to allegiance abilities. So, what else have we got? Like I said, I don't know much else about Chaos other than the corn stuff, so we won't look in the rest. The Zinc stuff, Phil said, had moved around quite nicely. So I think Flamers went up, or they got cheaper, I think. But he said they were still okay, but not great. I know the Skyfires went up. You played Steve from Newcastle Warlords in the tournament, didn't you?
Yes.
And he had the Zangors on the flying discs, just dishing out mortal wounds.
They were horrendous.
They've gone up in points.
Happy about that.
Yeah. So again, I don't really know much about that. I know some of the Nurgle stuff's changed slightly. Plaguebearer's got obviously the massive units. Demonettes got the massive units. And I'm not sure about the rest of the Chaos stuff, unfortunately. I don't know that much about. Harry, my Fire Slayers look awesome now. Everything's cheaper and we got some cool abilities. Yes, I know, Ali. So when we get chance, we either need to meet up or we need to get your Fire Slayers up here and possibly let the drunken bearded dwarf himself handle them in a nice way, but obviously I mean handle them on the battlefield. It's Phil. Death. I don't really know what the points were before. We'll probably have to try and get it.
Gosh, was like 1,000 points, wasn't he?
Let's check. So, death points values.
There was actually, Ali, there was someone in the chat earlier, Fire Slayers. She was happy with her new stuff.
What does Nagash come under?
Behemoth. Nagash was 900, he thinks. Yeah, you're right. I faced him once.
Against, what's his name?
Kieran.
Yes.
And basically, he brought everything he had, including Nagash, but he wasn't going to be playing. And I had everything I had, and I was like, well, how much points is he? And I just added in just because I wanted to face him. And it was Kieran's second game altogether, and the first time he tried to use him. And I think he must have played him well because basically he wrong or didn't work out the good strategies because he done nothing.
Right. He's very muted in match play because he can't keep. Basically, Nagash is really good at summoning new units, which in narrative play is good because you don't pay for them. But in match play, obviously you do pay for them, which is his downfall because he can summon 3 times, I believe. Don't know exactly. Anyway, he's dropped 100 points. He's only 800 points now. The Mortis engine's dropped to 180.
Is that the buggy?
No, I think that's the thing that Luke. That's what's it called?
Yeah, I make my own names up for things. So
I don't know much about death, unfortunately, so we'll skip that. Destruction points. Aelgo's Gargants, I think, went down to 170. He's got his place in match play. You just really get stuck building the rest of your list around him. Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of points. Oh, hang on, I've got Facebook open. Oh, Shane Sanderson sharing pictures of his Redemptor. Here's my Redemptor. I started building it on Friday morning at work, and I got that file. I was like, I've still got a few primary stuff to build. I've got 3 Hellblasters, 3 Interceptors, or Inceptors, and I've got 3 Aggressors to build, and then I can paint them, and I've got over 50 Marines to paint.
I thought I was painting.
You are. Interestingly enough, actually, they are releasing combat squad boxes. So you know how they came in a box of 10?
Yeah.
Next week they're releasing boxes of 5. I'm like, oh man, why? So yeah, I have enough because I've got the Dark Imperium Intercessors. I've then got the clip together Intercessors, and then I bought a box of 10 Intercessors.
Yeah, you've got plenty.
Yeah, no more Primaris for Harry. Trying to get back to YouTube. There we go. So destruction. Aelgo's Gargants. That's what I was looking up. Where is the destruction all points? Here we go. So there were 180, they went down to 170, which is really cool. Beast Claws. So Stonehorn Beast Riders stayed at 360. But it says it's changed, I'm not sure why. Thunder Tusk Beast Riders went up by 40 points. Any of the Thunder Tusks all went up by 40 points. You're happy about that?
Yes.
But they're not. Yes, it's 6 mortal wounds on a 2+. But as soon as they take a wound,
yeah.
Other than that, they've got nothing else.
But the way they won, there's so few drops, so you're pretty much always guaranteed to turn.
It's like what Craig said. They're very much of the Alpha Strike army. They were, whilst you could use the destruction abilities to move D6+2.
Yeah.
Because I only got to use that once with the Battle Brew, or twice rather, because I used them against Michael. And it was a massive, such a massive buff. The Icebrow Hunter went to 140 from 160. Frostlord and Stonehorn remained the same, but the Frostlord and Thundertusk went up by the respective 40. Huskard and Stonehorn stayed at 380. And Huskard and Thundertusk went up to 380 as well. So again, the Thundertusk went up by 40. Frost Sabres for 2 used to be 60 points. They're now only 40 points. So the Frost Sabres went down. Icefall Yetis stayed at 120. Mournfangs dropped from 200 for 2 to 160 for 2. They need it because whilst they are very good, if you take them with Gargan Hackers, you only have 2 attacks and you're hitting on 4s. You are lucky to get 2 attacks through per unit of 2. So the fact that they come down is brilliant. I have 8, and Phil gave me 4 more.
I hate them. I don't know, I just kind of think that they might, not just against Stormcast, but me personally, I just kind of beat them, and I don't like them.
They've only got 4 save.
I know, but I never seem to do anything against them.
They are a bit of a roadblock because of how many wounds they have, and it
Yeah.
takes so long to even kill 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then even if you kill 1, the battle shock is the roll of a 6 to kill another.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to bring them down, basically. The Scarl Battalion went from 60 points to 110, and that basically just lets you infiltrate cats.
With the Hunter?
With the Hunter, yeah. The Hunter can infiltrate anywhere, but you pay for the battalion to infiltrate the cats. So unless you're running massive amounts of cats, that is not worth it. Even just to get an extra artifact, because the Beast Claw artifacts aren't amazing. They're good, but they're not amazing. The Earlbad is the one that I used to run, and it went up to 160 points from 60.
That is a big leap.
It is. That's the one where if you roll a 6 to wound, you get, do a mortal wound in addition.
Ah, I didn't know that was a battalion.
It's a battalion, yeah. That one went up. Then, I used to run Allway, which was the big battalion. You have to take certain battalions in.
Yep.
That's gone up from 120 to 220.
I can understand the big cost because it's a big one in one.
But when you have to pay for another battalion that is already 100 odd points.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Bone Splitters got hit hard because I played against Ian who came 13th in the grand tournament. He won or 2? I don't remember which one. And he used the Cunninrook with another battalion with some war chanters and stuff in it. They went up in points, so let's have a look. Bone Splitters. I don't know. Arrow Boys. So it was 100 for 10.
Oh, 70, 20, 140 maybe.
It's 120 for 10 now. You can also only take them in a maximum unit size of 30. You get no discount, whereas the unit size before used to be 40. So that's a massive, massive nerf for Ian. He's going to have to probably totally rework his list, and especially because he had 3 battalions. So, I mean, the Cunninrook alone, I know how brutal that one was. So, where is it? Cunninrook is now 160 points. It was 60. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to have to really look at everything he's got, basically.
I did ask him about it, and he did say it's affected his whole army, so he's basically... I don't think he'll have to rebuild it, he'll just have to sit down and really rework out what works. Gut Busters. So I've just getting some Gut Busters off Phil in exchange for stripping like 8 Dreadnoughts for him. So with them obviously was the other 4 Mournfangs. I've got 2 Iron Blasters, 12 Ogres, 4 Lead Belchers, 6 Iron Guts, and a Butcher. And then Ali very kindly gave me 6 more Ogres when I went down to
Stop
NWO.
giving him the horrible stuff.
Ogres aren't horrible.
True, I've never actually played them yet.
We will soon. Anyway, Ogres are 120 points for 3. What were they before? Where are they at? 120 points for 3, but you get a discount now to 400 if you're in 12 in a unit. A Butcher is 140 points still. A Tyrant's 160. Iron Guts are now 200. They were 220. And Lead Belchers are 140. They were 160, so it's nice that they've come down. Interestingly enough, Iron Guts are battle line if you run good Buster Allegiance now as well. They never used to be. So that's good. But even with all the Ogres and everything that I've got, including the Giants and the Iron Blasters, I still don't have 2,000 points. And it's a lot of models that I've got, even already. So that was the changes for Beast Claws and Ogres. Order changes. We're not going to go through all of these. We'll go through the Stormcast and we'll go through the Sylvaneth.
We will. I'll come over and see you.
Okay. So, where are we at? Fire Slayers. In fact, actually, if Ali's still there, you can talk about the Fire Slayer stuff, because I know they used to be very, very expensive point-wise. Where are they at? So the Volkite Berserkers were 80 points for 5. It's now 120 points for 10, minimum unit size 10 rather than 5. So they would have been 160 points for 10, they're now 120 points for 10. But if you run a unit of 30, that's now 330 points. You'd have only gotten 20 for that cost before.
That's good.
They've gone down, yet. The Auric Runefather went up by 20. Auric Rune Master, or Rune Smiter rather, has dropped by 20. The Battlesmith and the Doomseeker. Doomseeker's not actually in the old handbook. But yeah, the fact that they went down. There you go. Auric Runefather and Magmadroth is 260, 240, and 200 respectively for the 3 guys now. Whereas before they were 320, 280, and 220. Ali says I could easily fit another 30-man blob for the same army. That's really, really good. Another 30 models is massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
For the points reductions. The Magmadroth's coming down by nearly 100 points is massive as well. I know a lot of people said that they were very overcosted. So it's nice that they've done that. Caradron Overlords.
Phil isn't here.
Phil's not here to rant. And I can totally understand why. The Caradron Overlords aren't in here, so I can't say what the points were. Because they didn't come out till after this.
But let's just say they got screwed.
Yep, all the points went up, the battalions went up, and there is a page in here that actually says replace the entire war scroll, which basically screws them all, because people used to run 4 of a certain gun, where what they did now is they've basically said you can only take 1 of each gun per 5 guys.
Per unit of 5.
Yeah, they've dropped the range of the guns, and they don't get the points reductions. I don't know where it is. Dogs out the front, dogs out the back. Yeah, gunstock thunderers is what they were. So now you've got 5 guys with 5 different guns, with 5 different ranges, or 3 different ranges, with a different number of attacks, hitting on different, wounding on different, with all different rends, and it's stupid.
It's really.
Caradron Overlord players kind of got swindled. Absolutely. Phil says like you needed the battalions because the models themselves aren't great. The battalions still didn't make them amazing, and they've screwed them.
When it all got leaked, Phil and Harry were in a GW store, and Phil was saying how bad they got screwed, and the manager was like, no, they didn't. So Phil basically gave them the Giants Handbook, and there you go.
No, Kyle had the Caradron Overlords battle tome on the painting table. He's like, no, they're not that bad. There's a synergy that you're missing. And he sat down and he looked through the battle tome alone, before obviously all of these changes and everything. And he was like, I don't get it. There's nothing to increase you to wounds. Like there's barely anything to increase you to hits. Why do the ships only have a 5-up save? And he was gobsmacked and he just couldn't believe it. And now they're worse. And I don't get it. So Phil's not very happy. Everyone's saying you have to go gunriggers now, which he doesn't want to do because I think he said it was like 30 for 10. So it was going to cost him like 90 quid just to change his army. And he was like, no, I'm not doing it. So
there's another thing. More hordes, more models. That's what
but
they're doing.
They also don't get a discount for maxing out the unit, which is stupid. Look. There, so it's 120 points for an Argonaut company, but you get no discount if you go unit of 40.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Considering every other one has. And didn't it take a character away?
No. We'll get onto those in a bit. They were the
Hiya, Jacob.
The compendiums. Yeah, Phil got screwed. Yeah, Phil did get screwed. The compendiums took a lot away from the people that liked using the older characters and models.
Yeah.
So even Phil's Dwarden, Dispossessed, he used Grimbeloxen, who now does not exist. So he's annoyed about that as well. So other points, Seraphon, I honestly don't know. We need Liam for that. Stormcast Eternals. So the only things that changed for you, everything got cheaper for you apart from one unit. So Liberators, if you take a block of 30, you get them for 520 points now.
That's £80. 80 cheaper.
80 cheaper. But why would you run a unit of 30?
I can understand doing that because of the game. The game
types.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but who is going to run that many Liberators?
It's the same as you and your Bloodletters. I am actually tempted. If I had another 10 with
hammers and shields.
Yeah, instead of the swords, I would be tempted to do it for the simple fact that there's nothing more satisfying than the amount of dice you'd have to roll.
Become an orc player. She saw the meme the other day for the first time where it's like literally a stacker box full of dice. Orc players be like, this my first volley.
Yeah.
So Jacob knows all about that because he's got orcs as well.
Has he?
Yeah, that's why when me and Michael played the 10k game and Jacob helped him.
Oh, yeah.
So Celestin on Prime went down 20 points. So he's now 340 instead of 360.
That's good.
Vandus Hammerhand is now listed, so he's 280 points. Retired. Lord Celestin on Stardrake is now 560. How much was he before? 620.
Stardrake 600.
So he's dropped 40 points.
Yeah.
So for 560, you're probably going to use yours more now.
Yeah, especially the Prime as well. Because I love them, but it was just hard fitting them in places.
Yeah, so obviously all the little niggles coming down here, it's really good. Prosecutors with Stone Cold Javelins, you've got 6, you're on painting them now. 3's finished, apart from managing to magnetize the wings.
Yep.
They went up to 100 from 80.
I wasn't surprised at that. The ones with hammers were 100. They're hit and wound on 4s, the hammers. The javelins hit and wound on 3s. And they were cheaper. I'm not surprised, and I'm not bothered that they went up, because I was totally expecting it.
We were expecting Lord Celestin on foot to go up to 120, 140.
I think he's, without a doubt, the best hero. If not in the game, then definitely Order.
For 100 points, he's pretty amazing. So up to D6 mortal wounds in the shooting phase.
Yeah, and you can shoot them each one at a different unit.
Yep.
He's got 2 weapons. His sword, which is 4 basic hits, attacks, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s. No, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s.
Yeah.
-1 for 1 damage. If he's charged, he +1s to hit.
No.
+1 attack. His general ability is +1 to hit for him and any friendly units within 9 inches in the combat phase.
And then he's got the hammer as well, so that'll be 3 when he charges, hitting on 3s because of his own command ability, and wounded on 3s.
Yeah.
He's a pretty beast, and he's got 5 wounds.
Yeah.
And a 3-up armor save.
Yeah.
For 100 points. That's insane. And time again, he has reliably killed monsters and units of mine, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's horrible. We've got a few comments. Kablams. I wonder if they want bigger units so games go faster. Quite possibly.
I just think it's for money. I don't know.
They're quite fast anyway, and you're going to destroy that brush.
It's already destroyed. I used it for glue the other night.
And didn't wash it.
No.
So Sean says, I think players that went and hunted down single weapons and built and painted them, well, now they get to cut the lime off. Oh, right, he's on offer the Caradons. So basically you'd buy 4 boxes just to get this, because you only got 1 of each weapon in the box. So to run 4 of one weapon, you'd have to buy 4 boxes and then put to build the 1 squad. So the amount of people that went and hunted them down, kills, yeah. Yeah, there's a bit of a delay between when you hear us and when we actually speak. So obviously by the time you reply, we've already moved on to something else. So yeah, sorry about that. The battalions, again, Tempestos went down to 220 from 240. And they're the cross-board recruiting guys.
Which is the ones I use.
Because if you shoot both of them at 1 squad, they're at -1 to hit.
That squad, if the unit you target in the shooting, if both of the Tempestoses aim for the same unit, then that unit is at -1 to hit in the following combat.
Which counters my bloodlet as a +1 to hit for being 20 models or more.
Yeah.
Which you used on me in the big battle report that we just put up.
I did as well, though. I targeted them with the decimators first. So basically, he was at like 4 on. If you hit on 4, cause mortal wounds.
I was only on 5s because my first turn I hadn't had a hero phase.
Oh, it was 5s, but I got him down. He was like, "Oh yeah, these are really buff to hell."
You charged me, then killed me, and then basically
and shot you at them. So
because I had less than 20 models, I didn't get the +1 for that, and then I was at -1 to hit because of the Tempestos, which means even rolling 6s to hit, I could not do the mortal wounds.
It was good.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. For you, it was. All of the battalions now went up massively. They're all like 180. There's one that's 160. Everything else is 180 to 240 points per battalion. A Hammer Strike's 220. Hammer Strike was good.
Yeah, I expected them all to go up, especially the Aetherwing one.
Yeah, that went up 3 times over. That's now 180.
For what you got, it was brilliant, but for the amount it was went by, I was shocked. I was expecting an 8 increase, but not that much.
Yeah, yeah. So Sylvaneth, I'm doing this off the top of my head as well, actually. So Dryads used to be 110 points, or 120 points for 10. They dropped to 100 and 270 for 30. So why would you not? The Tree Lord went from 260 to 240. The Branch Wraith and Witch, I think, went from 100 to 80 points each.
Yeah.
Alariel went from 620 to 600. Drycha, Durthu, and then Tree Lord Ancient all stayed the same. Kernoth Hunters went up from 160 to 220. Now,
180.
From 180 to 220. Now, for 180, they were good. They were tough. They weren't quite as good at shooting as your long strikes, but they were harder to kill. They had less of a save, I think, but they had more wounds. But they also had the ability to basically teleport around the battlefield. I think they did need to go up. I think 220 when the Skyfires. It's still only like 220, 240. I think they should have been 200. But
they're trying to make the Sylvaneth, they are the Sylvaneth version of Retributors in price wise, but I don't think they're as solid as Retributors, if you know what I mean.
I can't remember what the stat lines are for it. Have you got the War Scroll there? Or can you go it up on the app? Because obviously we know the Retributors off by heart. The Tree Revenants and Tree Sprites again went down to 80 points. The problem with the Tree Revenants and the Tree Sprites is a max unit is 30 and a 2250 for 5 Yeah, that's like 130 quid for a unit of
This
30.
is the Great Bow, range 30, 2 attacks. 4s to hit, 3s to wound, -1 men for D3 damage.
Potentially about the same then, because obviously your long strikes have only got 1, but they hit on 2s, wound on 3s, -2 for 2 damage. So they've got less shots, but they hit better, but they do the average amount of damage with a slight more rend. So I think they're about the same. But how many wounds and armor saves do they have?
They have a 4+ armor save and 5 wounds each. So put
that's pretty good actually, because you only have a 4 armor and 2 wounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually I can kind of see why they've gone up, because I would say they're about on par with the shooting. Obviously, when you work out maths and stuff like that. The battalions again went up massively. So the household battalion used to be 20 points. That's gone up to 70. And most of the others went like, these ones didn't increase as much as the Stormcast ones, which is good. But a lot of them almost doubled, whereas the Stormcast ones doubled to triples.
Yeah. But before the new costs and everything came out, when, let's say, our new army is Sylvana, we sat and we created a 2,000 point list with what I have and a couple of battalions in.
Then we got the leaked points.
But it's worked out pretty much the same, because the battalions have gone up, but so many of the models have gone down. Like
initially you weren't going to put that many drives in, you were just going to take 2 units at 20, weren't you? Because you get the bonus once you're over 12. But with the fact that obviously it would have cost her 240 for 20, now it only costs her 270 for 30, and it was like, yeah, might as well. So we ended up obviously increasing the overall size of the dryads. It means the way we built it, Dirthu is not on your list.
It wasn't anywhere. No, the way we built it was 2 ancients, but now it's just 1 ancient and 1 normal tree lord. Something like that anyway.
No, that was the Guardians of Alario battalion that we were going to build. So that's only got a tree lord in. But yeah. What else is there? I think that's it for points. Forces of the Realms, or the changes. Let's have a look. Right, so here's where it says about the named characters and stuff in mounts. So named characters such as Nagash, Archeon, and Alariel are singular and mighty warriors with their own personalities and items of power. As such, these models cannot have a command trait or an artifact of power, which we quite often forgot.
Yeah.
But never mind, we know now. Some heroes have a mount, such as a battle steed, a powerful monster that they can ride, or a massive war machine that they can stand upon. In all such cases, any command abilities or magical artifacts can only be used to affect attacks made by the hero and have no effect on the attacks made by their mount unless specifically stated otherwise. Which also means that Battle Brew took another nerf, because Battle Brew would be add 1 to the models to hit into wound roll, which meant the Stonehorn itself also got it.
It was always like that though. It was always just the...
It would specify that, but...
The Stormcast was always like that.
Yeah. Because of the way the book was wrote after the original General's Handbook, so they basically kind of wrote that in anyway. So it's like the 1 gives you +1 attack. It specifies it only applies to the model, not the... Yeah. So order command traits and artifacts of power pretty much stayed almost the same. I'm not going to go over them, because they're almost the same. So reroll battle shocks if your Grand Alliance's order, and the artifacts stay pretty much the same. Darkling Covens, I haven't read them because I don't have them and I don't know anybody with them. But it's nice that they pay attention to them. It's only a couple of pages for each faction, and it's really nice that they've actually gone back and included it all. So yeah, next up we've got the Dispossessed. Again, I haven't read these. Phil has read them, and he's like, it's not great because you get I think you said you get the battle trait when you're in a big unit anyway.
Right.
and the artifacts and everything weren't great. Plus the fact, in order to run them effectively, he needs many more dwarfs, and at £30 for 10, doesn't really want to pay that.
Yeah.
Free people, so the Empire, they've got their own stuff. Fire Slayers have got their own command traits and everything as well. Again, I'm not going to go into the faction-specific ones. We'll just have a look at the Grand Alliance ones. But interestingly enough, they did put 2 extra battalions in here for the Fire Slayers. But it's like I think the thing is with the Fire Slayers, they were one of the first books that came out, right?
Yeah.
So that although they had battalions in there, they didn't have, the bigger battalions.
Yeah, the War Chambers.
That's it. There's 2 of them in here now.
Cool.
So they've gave them at least. Seraphon in the same as well. Again, Seraphon didn't have any. They had battalions, but no war chambers. So the Seraphon have got all their own battle traits and everything now. Because again, the Seraphon were one of the early battle tomes, which is why Liam didn't pick it up, because there was nothing new in it for him.
Yeah.
But then they've got 2 of their big war chambers now as well, which is nice again that they're paying attention to them. Wanderers now have their own stuff, and we were talking to Neil from Hellstorm Wargaming yesterday, and he said that one of the lads that goes down has Wanderers, and the archers alone, he said, were absolutely brutal.
It's about time, because it doesn't matter if it's gaming, films, TV shows, elves, you cannot beat elves in shooting. Now, we know someone who's got a lot of elves and Wanderers, Colin. And my Stormcaster better shooters than his elves.
Stormcaster poster boys, that's why. You know they are. Stormcaster are always going to be one of the best, just like Space Marines are always one of the best in 40k.
Yeah.
So, Chaos Grand Alliance, Unpredictable Destruction, changed. Before, I think it was if you were within 9 inches of a hero, you roll a dice, and on a 6 you get +1 to hit. Now, roll a dice when you pick a Chaos unit from your army to attack in the combat phase. If it is within 12 inches of your general, or 3 inches of another hero. So it's not all the heroes; it's 12 from your general, or 3 within another hero.
It was bad when the basic you get +1 to hit if you.
The buff itself was good, but to have to roll a 6 to get it.
Yeah, so that evened it out, but they have totally nerfed that. I actually feel a bit sorry for Chaos. I just said that.
You dirty person. So yeah, many of the command traits stayed the same. So like Dark Avenger had 1 to hit when targets with the order keyword. Lord of War. Pick 1 Chaos unit within 3. This changed. So you know how before, like, if I wasn't playing you, if I was playing somebody else, I would just say pick a unit within 3 to get +1 to hit. You now have to roll a dice, and on a 3+ it goes off, rather than just automatically going off. Yet when you're fighting order, it's all units within 10 inches. Whereas this one, it's on a 3+, 1 unit within 3 inches can get it.
So is it still the same if you order though?
Well, just the one for order stayed exactly the same. All the artifacts look the same. So Chaos Talisman, the Guided Gem, Chaos Runeblade, Demon Weapon and stuff, they pretty much stayed the same. Brea Herd, I don't know anybody that plays Beast, so I can't really comment on much of that. But again, it's nice that they've acknowledged it, a little known faction.
Definitely. I like how they've done that. I think basically they were trying to get rid of all the little older ones, and
they have screwed them up with the compendiums a lot.
And they realised, hang on, we can it. So that's why they've even like just a few pages, and it's nice because people have paid a lot of money and spent a lot of time painting them. And at the end of the day, they've given GW a lot of money.
Like the guy in the Age of Sigmar I played Justin's a while back. He actually took Bretonnians, and I think he had the Bretonnian King or something, and I think they totally got rid of him in the compendium. So Zednet, he says, my Wanderer army looks good again. Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I've got them there, but I haven't read them. But a lot of people, from what I've heard, have said that they are pretty good now. So that's
and
good.
so they should be. They also.
You wanted high elves originally, didn't you, as well?
I actually got
not high
elves.
You wanted wood elves.
Yeah, I actually got a mixture of elves. But a unit of is me Stormcast. Me Liberators. All you've got to remember is the stat line, and that if you're going against anything with more than 5 wounds, you +1 to hit. That is it. For a normal unit of high elves or wanderers, you need to know about 20 different things as well as the stat line, and yeah.
The problem is, and Craig, if he's still here, I'll confirm, them Plague Monks, right? I'll show you in the Chaos book how much there is to remember. Like, me and Michael struggled to keep up with it when we played last week.
I can imagine.
There was a lot to keep track, and that was just the Plague Monks, without all the other abilities that the rest of his army was giving him buffs. So Slanesh got 3 sets of abilities, I believe, or 2. And the Slaves to Darkness got their own as well. Graham was over the friggin' moon.
He was.
He was. He's very happy. And I'm playing Graham on Thursday, so you can expect a Slanesh battle report. I've got no idea how it's going to go, especially now because the Stonehorns
got screwed.
Stonehorns are getting screwed, and he'll just charge a block of Demonettes at me, and there's nothing I can do. Every single wound will count, and I can't half it. So Skaven Pestilence. If Craig is still, if Craig's still in the chat, if you wouldn't mind putting up a couple of comments about the Skaven Pestilence abilities, that would be fantastic, and I can go back and have a look at them. But again, I'm not too sure on them, so I'll skip them. But if Craig is happy to put some comments in, we can go back and have a look at them. There is Clan Pestilence, there's Skya, there's no Death or... No Death, there's no Verminous or the other one, which I'm surprised at. Death. Deathless Minion, Lucy.
Ha, ha, ha. I'm sorry, that was ridiculous.
On Skeletons, getting a 5-up invulnerable save, basically, and then getting D6 models back a turn.
One or the other, please. One or the other.
Now, it's only a 6-up, and you have to be within 6 inches of a hero. Because everyone used to take the command trait that increased Deathless Minion to a 5, which is no longer in existence. So Craig says they basically just made everything about the priests and their plagues. So basically taking a goddamn broken destroy everything they touch unit and taking them to annihilate and burn everything they touch unit. Craig, if you can put 120 plague monks on the field, mate, I will play you with my bloodletters.
That would be... Oh.
What?
We should totally do that. Get Michael back with his orcs.
Right.
Massive clump of orcs versus a massive clump of bloodletters.
In 40k.
Either? Oh, yeah.
Or orcs would...
Yeah.
Orcs would probably still win, because if he buffs them right, they've got 5 attacks each hitting on 2s.
If you get first turn, or if you buff them...
I can't do the run like I can in Sigmar.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking about in Sigmar.
They're nowhere near as fast in 40k.
We would need a big blob army for Sigmar to go against it.
Definitely. So there's the normal death guys. The Flesh Eaters finally got their own, which when Tony comes up in September, I'll be going over this with him and helping him build a couple of different lists. I don't think the Mongol is Flesh Eater, but he can technically ally it in, providing he paints it. I heard that they got hit quite hard as well, because the Mongols used to be brilliant for the points. Because I think it was like a 3+ ignore, or 3-up armor save that ignored rend. Then you had your Deathless Minion save after that, and then if they killed stuff, they got wounds back as well.
Yeah, that sucked big time.
Yep. Nighthaunt, I think, is like the hex rates and everything. You know what Luke has.
Oh yeah.
But then there's Soul Blight as well. I don't know which one's which for death, but basically you've got your flesh eaters, which is your zombies and crypt horrors and stuff. You've then got your night haunt, which is it's all the spirity stuff. So the spirit horse, the hex wraiths, the reliquary, and things like that. Soul blight, I don't know which ones are the soul blight, but Justin has soul blight, doesn't he? When you played against Justin's death army.
Oh, I can't remember. Like I say, I make my own names up for things, so...
Right. Craig, I only have plans to get 80 rats. 80 plague monks or 80 clan rats. Have you got any storm vermin? Because they were brutally disgusting when Michael buffed them up. He had them like doing like 3 attacks apiece, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s, wounding on 3s for -2 rend. He had them hitting on. He should have been hitting on 2s in the first turn actually, because if you attack a unit that is smaller than you, you get +1 to hit. So because he had a unit of 20, he was always a +1 to hit against with base claws.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Destruction. Right. So previously, if you were within 8 inches of a hero, you could roll a dice and move d6 inches. You could add 2 to that roll if you took, I think it was Rampage and Destroyer. Craig says no storm vermin, and that's 40 plague monks and 20 Sins of Errors. Cool. So, Rampage and Destroyer for destruction. Roll a dice in your hero phase for the general and each destruction hero in your army. Add 2 to the roll for your general. On the roll of a 6, pick a friendly destruction unit within 6 inches of your general or hero that is being rolled for. That unit can immediately move 6 inches if it is more than 12 inches away from an enemy, can immediately pile in if it is within 3 of an enemy, or can immediately declare a charge in any other circumstances. It cannot run when it makes its move, but can move, charge, or pile in again later in the same turn. None of that is helpful other than potentially the move, which you can't do if you're within 12 inches of an enemy, and if you don't roll a 6.
And if you are within 12 inches, you have to try and make a charge for one of your units.
Stonehorns, which you'd be doing anyway. So that is utter crap. If I'm running Beast Claws, I will absolutely use the Beast Claw trait, which is the Everwinter table. So on a 1 or 2 and reroll saves with a 1. On a 3 or 4, I move 3 inches. On a 5 or 6, I roll a dice for every unit that's within 3 inches of one of mine. And on a 6, you suffer either D3 or D6 mortal wounds, based on if I rolled a 5 or a 6. So they're utter crap. Battle Brew, right? Get this. Once per battle, in any of your hero phases, you can declare that this model will drink either 1 or 2 swigs of the Battle Brew. If a hero takes 1 swig, add 1 to all of the hit and wound rolls for the model until your next hero phase. If the hero takes 2 swigs, add 2 to the wound rolls, but you immediately suffer D6 mortal wounds.
D6, that is...
D6. So what we used to do is if you took 2 swigs, you'd lose 1 wound at the start of every one of your hero phases for the rest of the game. So obviously a Stonehorn with 12 wounds being healed by a Thunder Tusk, you don't mind taking 2 swigs, but it's the fact that you can only use the add 1 once per game. And now it specifically states it does not affect the mount. It only affects the hero.
You got screwed.
Yes.
See, because everyone... when you say you've got Beast Claw Raiders...
Everyone goes, oh, Beast Claw Raiders overpowered.
They weren't. You just need to figure out a good way to get rid of them.
I think we played 5 games altogether. I lost 3. I won 1 pretty decidedly. And then the one that we played where I proxied my Bloodletters as Blood Reavers when we went to Battle Bunker, I won by the skin of my teeth on turn on, because I went the bottom of turn 5. I made a charge onto an objective and had 2 Mournfires versus your 1 Liberator. If I hadn't, I couldn't have moved there. I had to make that charge, and because I made the charge, I control it. It was Blood and Glory with the 4. And because I controlled 2, she basically controlled the 2 on either side, and I was moving across to get the next one. And if I failed the charge, I wouldn't have gotten there. So
they are beatable, but they're very hard to beat. But it can be done.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in that game, actually, you learned not to put your Raptors right on the front line.
I did, and it was the game before that when he got first turn, and I put me Raptors literally on the 12 inches in. And I think he might have hoped I'd forgot like that. So when we were playing this game of Battle Bunker, I was like, right, I'm going to deploy these, and I put them as far back as I could.
I think you put them about 4 or 5 inches from the table edge, so I couldn't reach them with the Thunder Tusk.
Something like that, yeah.
But interestingly enough, I used a unit of 6 Yetis, right, and I moved, ran, and still charged because of the Thunder Tusk. And I was like, right, I'm just going to charge in against all these and tie them all up, and I charged the Dracothians and a unit of 5 Liberators. I was like, yep, I'm going to tie these up, I'm going to kill them. No.
Yeah. I got lucky with some saves on that one, though.
Yeah, you did. Your Dracothians refused to die in that game.
You really did. I love them.
So yeah, they aren't great for destruction abilities. And like, Iron Jaw's got their own. I think Bone Splitters have their own in their Battle Tome.
Right.
Why didn't Ogres get theirs? It's the only one. Oh. Yeah. So that was the General's Handbook. A lot of good things in it. I like the new missions, apart from that one deployment type. Points, I like that they've adjusted them. I don't like the cost of battalions now. The compendium was a little bit disappointing, because obviously I looked at the Ogre stuff, and the only thing that's in there is the Banner Bearer, which is now totally changed compared to where it used to be. Phil wasn't happy at the the Dispossess. Because the compendium's the old stuff. And sorry about the chest, but I'm trying to get comfortable again. Yeah, they took out all of that. They also took out the keywords, so you can't technically take them as allies, which means you have to run Grand Alliance to take them.
So overall, I think points are
you escaped very lucky with your 2 armies.
I did.
I got lucky with Khorne, that not much has changed apart from for the better. But I feel Beast Claws and Ogres have now just been screwed.
Yeah. But I think the biggest fraction to take a hit has got to be Courage and Overlords.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They did not need nerfing in the slightest. They were good. They weren't powerful. All they had to say was abilities can't stack, and I think they've actually changed it now in an FAQ. It might have been the one that I read at the beginning, but basically they said if a unit is affected by somebody with an ability, then the abilities don't stack. The word is different. They basically said if it's within range, if it gets a rule or an ability from one model, it can't benefit from the exact same ruling again. An example being the Blood Secretor for Khorne, the guy with the banner, gives you it gives them like Kill Frenzy, which gives them +1 attack. Although you are subject to Kill Frenzy rule twice, you can't benefit from it the second time. So that is 100% now. That does not stack. It also means Richard Hudspeth from Newcastle likes double stoking his bloodletters.
Right.
Can't do that now either.
No. Yes, and the Portal Skulls. Is that what you just said?
That's the Blood Secretor, yeah, so you can't obviously do that twice, which is a bit of a shame, but you know what, never mind. I think that's about everything. We're going to probably play a game tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've just... The Khorne versus Stormcast game that went up this week, we played that back in May.
We did. It was a big game. I
But
enjoyed it.
it was fun. But the reason I didn't get that edited is because 40k came out at the beginning of June.
Mm-hmm.
And I just did not have time to get it
So
done.
if you're a Sigmar fan, you'll be sick of 40k.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, you know, the coverage for the General's Handbook and then especially with your Sylvaneth.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and convince Phil to keep painting these Kharadrins because I think even against my Beast Claws, they're still going to be reasonable.
Yeah. Sigmar will be making a big comeback over the next couple of weeks. You'll be pleased to hear.
Mm-hmm.
My pretty glitter art will be back.
So, this is a question to everyone that's still watching now. Do you want to see Stormcast versus Khorne? Do you want to see Beastclaw versus Stormcast? Or Lucy's willing to give the Beastclaws a go under my guidance versus Khorne?
He had the nerve to ask, see if I wanted to play as Khorne.
Craig's just commented there as well, actually. I'm guessing this is as a result of the compendiums, Craig. You know the Skaven Chieftain I converted in the last few weeks. He doesn't work anymore. So Craig actually converted the Skaven Chieftain and put him on a Segway.
What's that?
You know what? A lot of the police officers in America drive around on them with two wheels. And
Yes.
They're like scooters on two wheels.
Yeah.
He basically sent... he's basically converted them. I'm going to just find your Facebook page, Craig, and see if I can find it.
So he's totally nerfed now.
Can't use him.
Stormcast versus Khorne. Oh, yeah, I think we should because we both start. He already had Khorne, I start with Stormcast. First time is, and it's a new edition, really. It's busy Sigmar edition 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we should go back to Stormcast vs. Stormcast?
Stormcast versus Khorne.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find... Where's he at?
But I'm going to start doing some practice games with me.
Sylvaneth.
Why? How he gets them painted. So soon we should have some pretty tree people on.
There, Craig says the banner is completely different now, so it doesn't do what I need. He was my one planned ally. Try Instagram, he said. Craig, I've just realised I haven't liked your Facebook page. I am really sorry. Yeah, you post most of your videos to Facebook, Instagram. Are you just under your name or are you under Kablams? Oh, there, I found you anyway. So he's on a little Segway.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you going to use him as something else or?
Oh, he's done a little mage priest being pulled. I think it's a warp priest or something. Being pulled along by some tiny little rats.
That's actually a question. Is anyone planning on not using the new update stuff and just sticking to Age of Sigmar Edition 1? Or...
Well, technically, General's Handbook is Edition 2.
Yeah.
General's Handbook 2017 is technically Edition 3. General's Handbook never existed till last year.
Oh, yeah.
Prior to that, there was no General's Handbook.
You are right.
So, Craig says, no, he's literally trashed now. Well, at least it's a really cool, unique, original model, Craig. Which I'm going to have to attempt to convert an Ogre Tyrant, because I don't want to pay like 20 odd quid for a Tyrant. You're going to spill that on yourself.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, so the Ogre Tyrant, yeah, actually, Craig, you'll know because you'll have looked into it more than me. Am I correct in thinking, right, because of all the compendium stuff, they've removed the keywords. The only way you can use them is by running the Grand Alliance, because the factions have specific things that they can ally with, and because the compendium stuff doesn't have any keywords, technically they can't be allied. I think that's right.
I'm glad you didn't ask me that. Yeah, I think some of the factions that got hit hard, I think we're going to see a lot of rage quitters. Is that what you call them?
What, where they sell them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for some, I really don't blame. And there's just no need for some of it.
So Craig says, yeah, that's right. And the Grand Alliance stuff got super nerfed. Yeah, absolutely. So technically, right, on the subject of when I mentioned about me Ale Guzzlers being allies, so I can't use the banner unless I run the Grand Alliance as my allegiance, which means that I can't use me Iron Guts and me Lead Belchers as battle line. That sucks. If that's the way that I think it is. Which, by introducing these allies, they basically just made everything a hell of a lot harder. Or also, in fact, all they needed to do was leave the keywords in. We've got Sharpie and Barry from Underdog Paintings just joined us. We've basically just gone over. Craig says, yeah, that's right. That's trash. That's absolutely trash.
Basically, they've sold all these alliance boxes, bought them out.
No, the ones that they've brought out have all got rules in here.
Yeah, but they're no good really for what they thought were going to be.
No, they're absolutely perfect for what they were going to be.
All right.
We're talking about the really old stuff in the compendium.
All right, yeah, sorry.
So basically, I want the Ogre banner, but I can't use them unless I run Destruction Allegiance, which means technically I only have one battle line unit, which is my normal standard Ogres. But if I run Gutbusters as my allegiance, then the Iron Guts and the Lead Belchers become my battle line. You know how if you run Stormcast, the Judicators become battle line?
Yeah.
Like that. So, basically it's like saying he's this power marine guy thing, but he's in the compendium, he's got no rules, and you can't just ally him in a Stormcast. What you have to do is you have to go order Grand Alliance to use him, which means, oh, by the way, your Judicator is no longer battle line. You can't use any of your allegiance traits for the Stormcast, which is your Sonic of the Storms. You have to just take the reroll Battle Shock. Which sucks.
What's a cool army Stormcast? Or Sylvanas?
Let's have a look. Zednetty, the compendium is coming out on a separate PDF soon. Came out 2 days ago, mate. That's what we're discussing. Yeah, Craig's hit the nail on the head there. Only the units available in the store are worth taking now. Yeah, I think they're basically going to try and phase them out, like what they did with a lot of the older stuff. So you know how like Tomb Kings don't get any support at all, even though they won the Heat 2 Grand Tournament. I think what they've done now is they're basically trying to make them so that you have to really, really build your army around them to get them in, but they're so less useful than what they were that no one's going to take them, and because no one takes them, that's their excuse for the 2018 General Handbook to remove them.
Yeah.
That's what I think they'll do, and Craig will probably agree with me here. Barry says, we're starting an AOS Tale of Gamers starting 1st of October. What's a cool army to do, mate? Loads and loads of Age of Sigmar models are really damn cool to build and paint. Sylvanas are fantastic. Here is Lucy's bases that I'm doing up for her. I need to add the water effects onto it. But you get the idea.
And so comment to the channel.
Ents. What else is cool? Fire Slayers look cool.
The
Wanderers, so the Wood Elves, are actually cool.
The Dark Elves.
Sisters of Slaughter and Daughters of Cain, basically. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
I think most of them
Barry says White Dwarf are getting involved in maybe publishing our armies. Mate, that is fantastic if you can get that.
They're just doing well, aren't they?
Barry from Underdog Paintings, just in Millsbury, yeah.
You have to come down, up.
Yeah. Barry, actually, I know you said you were painting some armies up and stuff, but if you've got one painted up and you fancy a battle report, mate, how are you up? We're only like, what, 20 minutes up the A19? So yeah, definitely pop up, mate. Drop us a message on Facebook if you've got some stuff painted up and we'd love to do it. Kabam says there's so many cool armies, just check it out. They have alliance abilities before pulling the trigger. Yeah. Allegiance abilities, I think you'll mean. Yeah, Lizardmen are always cool. I've always loved Lizardmen. Liam's scheme is very different. It's like a very dark salamandery red kind of feel, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But on snow bases. Sharpie says, look forward to seeing what I can do with the Iron Jaws with the handbook. Yeah, mate, there's some good stuff in there for the Iron Jaws. They're getting their own allegiance abilities and stuff now. But yeah, I know you've got about 1,000 points or so of Iron Jaws. We'll have to get them round, and you need to come back around for a rematch with your Death Guard. It might be worth waiting till the Death Guard Codex is out in 3 or 4 weeks' time, though. So Arcaia says, hello, my fellow nerds and nerdettes.
Hello.
Barry says he'll drop us a bell. Allegiance abilities add so much more to an army's ability to complete. Absolutely. Absolutely. Some familiar faces in the chat. Definitely. We've got 14 people watching, actually, so thank you very much for stopping by. Really do appreciate it. Lucy has been painting up a very bright Celestant on Drakov.
And I think I am actually finished.
And she's done this the entire time in 2 hours whilst I've been sat next to her.
Do you want to show them?
Other than me saying that's the wrong wash once.
Twice.
Oh yeah, 3 times a lady. She's decided to go for a very bright blue colour scheme rather than the dark sort of teal colour that she normally goes for. It's hard to see it on the camera actually, but it's actually Temple Guard blue washed with Gulliman's glaze, and then she's dry brushed it up with skink blue.
Yep.
Yep. So very cool. That's your second Celestant on Stardray on Drakov.
I will be running him possibly as Vandus. No, Vandus is set with a hammer, isn't he?
He is.
Might change the.
Use your other one as Vandus. Vandus is actually really, really good compared to a normal Celestant on Drakov. The only thing with Vandus is he can't take the shield.
No.
But he has a passive ability that allows him.
Basically, any friendly Stormcast units within 24
don't take battle
shot. Celestant on Drakov, that is his command ability.
So the way that you normally get that is you take Celestant on foot to use his, and then Consummate Commander to take that.
Yeah.
So Vandus is more points, but his is just a hero ability, which means you can take a different command trait on Celestant on foot now.
Yep. Yes.
Which we need to look at.
I do. The thing is, I'm not going to have the axe. I really love the hammer, so I might just chop that axe off and change it for a hammer. I'll have a look.
You know what we could do? I'll chop it off there, put a magnet on, and just use the hammer off the your Dracothian Guard. Magnetize it the same way. It's done.
Very good. There you go.
So yeah. So if me and Lucy are playing tomorrow. Oh wait, I've got a couple of comments. Any Sharpies used, Lucy?
No.
No, Craig, because it dried out, which sucks. I just bought it for £3.50, right? And it totally doesn't work anymore at all. Look. Annoyed. Because I was gonna sit down and finish my Brass Scorpion tonight whilst I was talking. So no, I haven't. Have you seen my Tyranids commission? Yeah, mate. You sent us a couple of pictures earlier, and I've been keeping an eye on it. You're doing well with them. Temple Guard blue for the Drakov. Did you do a different colour for the underbelly? Also, what colour for the inside of the mouth?
Same colour for the underbelly and the mouth. Half of it is purple still from the spray, and half of it is blue. But I'm not. I might change it all. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, the other one that she did, she did Sawtech green. Is the colour that you use, isn't it? It's very tealy.
Yeah.
I don't know why you decided to do this one purple. She's just like, nah, I want it bright.
Yeah, something different.
Please tell me you're not going to go back and do the other three.
No.
Looking for ideas for my Dread Saurian. Oh, depends on the rest of them. If you go on the Warhammer 40,000 Facebook page, though, there's a guy who won Armies on Parade who has put his Tyranids on there, and we saw them on display at Warhammer World. You remember the really intense, brightly coloured ones? They're actually on the page.
I think anyone who's starting an army or repainting it, yeah, it's nice to follow the GW's colour scheme and what, but it's so much better doing your own things. I mean, the amount of compliments I get for mine is unbelievable. And it's like, they're not the same as 90% of everyone else's.
It's like when I took my Tyranids to Warhammer World, and because I've got all the shells on them, like I literally just painted my Tyranids like 3 colours and dry brushed them all, and added shells on, and did the bases like water. And because I've done the water bases and the shells, it stops everybody, and they're like, "Oh, that's different. That's really cool." So obviously Lucy's bright purple and pink Stormcast with actual glitter. I might do that as the banner for when I do the turn number and stuff. Stormcast with actual glitter, turn 1.
Yeah. Actually, I need to glitterify this.
Yeah.
I'm currently painting Daleks.
Yes, Doctor Who. Actually, Jacob, right? He painted some Daleks up the other day, and what was his name? What's the Dalek bad guy called? I can't remember his name. Davros, whichever one it is. Twisted Dice, Darren. Hello, Darren, mate. How are you doing?
Callum, yes, I do. I've got a list on Battlescribe of just a total mounted and a Stormcast unit. I've got me Stardrake, me Corthian Guard, me Paladors,
Lord Aquila,
Selison and Drakhoth, and then obviously I've named my battle lines in. So there's something else I've got which I can't think, but I really do want to run a just totally mounted army. I think actually I might do that next.
You need to finish your Paladors. We need to make 3 more bases for them because I've lost your others.
But definitely Callum.
Yeah. Jacob was saying he's painting Daleks. Jacob put a picture of his Daleks and Davros on Instagram, and none other than Peter Capaldi himself liked it.
Who's that? What?
Who's that? Doctor Who.
I don't watch Doctor Who.
But Peter Capaldi was Doctor Who until last week.
I don't like Doctor Who, so I don't watch it.
I think it might be my next project once I paint all my age. Cool, man. Yeah, go Jacob. Jacob, you Night Lords, please tell me they're finished, because we need a game again soon, because the only one we played before was like months ago, and you literally just took whatever you have, and I know you've been furiously painting Raptors and Talons. Darren says, no way, the Doctor rocks.
I think I watched like half an episode with David Tennant and Billy Piper when they were in it. Well, that's about it, and I just didn't like it.
Fair enough. So, what have I been painting? Well, I've just OSL'd all of my Necrons over the weekend, barring 10 Lich Guard, 10 Immortals, and the Obelisk. I have finally put together the Doomsday Arc. Rhys Rowledge, Doctor Who shit.
Woohoo!
So's your face, Rhys.
Oh.
He loves
Doctor
his
Who
movie.
fans get so passionate. It's a shit.
I'm not obsessed with it. I didn't even watch the last series.
That is true.
So what have I been painting? I chopped all of the arms off my Necron Immortals and finally put Tesla on them. Surreal is back, and you're still streaming. Yeah, we've pretty much finished about 10-15 minutes ago. We're just talking crap now. I'm basically saying that I pulled all the Gauze Blasters off my Necron Immortals, and I managed to rake together, I think I had 3 or 4 Teslas. Josh gave me 3 or 4, and Phil had 2. So I managed to get the 10 Teslas that I needed in order to convert these ones back to Tesla. There is a battle report with the Necrons on Patreon. So if you would like to see it early, it won't be available on YouTube until Friday, or possibly the week after, because I think the ones from Hellstorm Wargaming will have to go up this week. That is over on Patreon, so if you do want to see the battle reports early, please support us on Patreon. A massive shout out to a couple of gentlemen that made some donations to the channel as well, via PayPal, which I will just log into. One of them was Mr. Rick Lewis, once again coming in with the donation. So thank you very much to Rick for that. Phil will be very graciously appearing on your screens very soon, doing a little dance to a very popular YouTube meme video.
Lip sync battle.
Yep, absolutely. So where's history? See activity. There we go.
Steve
So yeah, it was Rick Lewis, and then Henrik Dents said, "Hello from Sweden. I love the channel, so keep up the good work. Now I want some smoke whilst Phil sings. Best regards, Henrik." So massive shout out to Henrik for his donation as well. So thank you very much.
Also, I can't remember who asked, but I decided to do the inside of the mouth metallic purple.
Because why not?
Yep.
Why not, basically? Oh, ow, ow, ow. So Surreal says there is no finished. I have 6 to 7 boxes of Immortal / Death Marks. Yeah, I think that's the only reason I had 5 spare, was because I built a unit of, or rather, you built a unit of Death Marks for me.
Did I?
Yeah, the guys with the sniper guns.
Oh yeah.
You built them last year for me.
And painted.
And painted, yes. I'm also working on some, what they're called, Shadow Spectres for Sean. They're nearly finished. I enjoyed painting them up. The Tau, 2,000 points of Tau is now done. I'm hoping to expand another 500 in the form of 4 models, Lucy.
That's silly.
Yeah, but the Storm Surge was 400 odd itself. Basically, I'm going to paint up 2 Devilfish and a Hammerhead, and then a character.
See, the Hammerhead, does it look like a shark?
No, you remember when Stephen came round and he had the 3 hover tanks at the back with the long guns?
Oh, right.
They're the Hammerheads.
I think if they're going to be called after an animal, they should at least look like it.
Well, all of the Tau stuff is named after fishes. So the little skimmer bites that I haven't got, they're called piranhas. You've got the Devilfish, you've got the... Oh, I don't even know what the rest of the Tau is. You've got the Tiger Shark Bomber, the Sun Shark Bomber.
It should at least look like the animals named after.
One of the flyers that's no longer available that Paul Tonks from Inside Out Gaming, Inside Out Terrain has painted, who's going to Gibraltar. And Stephen's been after one for ages, is an Orca dropship.
Ooh.
Yep, they don't make it anymore, which is why he's been after one for ages.
Mm.
Yeah, most of the Tau stuff is named after fish, because, you know, fish people, so...
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Whenever like, say he's at work or and I'm at home, we message and I say what you're painting tonight. He's like, oh, me Tau. And I always say, fishies, fishies,
Yep.
fishies.
Fish people. So the first Tau game has been filmed. It'll be... I don't think I'll get it edited by Friday because I've got 2 battle reports to edit. Well, 3 technically, because 1 Age of Sigmar and 2 40k battle reports to edit in time for Friday / Saturday. So I don't think I'll get that one edited. So that'll be next week's battle report, which will be available on Patreon as soon as possible, basically. And then you guys will see it in 10 days' time. So yeah, Lucy has finished off the Celestin on Dracoth. She's finished off nigh on 3 prosecutors.
Mhm.
Your Paladors are almost done.
They are done.
They are done. So we need bases for the Paladors. I need to magnetize the wings on the prosecutors, which leaves you with 3 prosecutors
And 10 protectors.
10 protectors. Did you paint Heraldor?
Yep. I think. Is he the one with the horn?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the one that you didn't paint because you painted Vexillor and Questor, didn't you?
Mhm.
So yeah.
So officially, when I do I've got 13 models left to paint, and then that is my entire storm cost done.
Yeah. You decided against your second Star Drake, didn't you?
Yeah. I barely play the one.
I think we'll see him more, but the fact that you've only had him twice for special occasions is what swayed it for you. So, she put it for sale, and Phil from Down Raiders has agreed on it.
Yep.
And you have bought the mausoleum.
I have.
With the money.
And we've got the Blight box coming.
Blight Wall box is incoming, yes.
Neve looks amazing.
Yeah. So Lucy is going to be splitting the box with Phil. So obviously Phil's going to take Gary the Snail, Destroyer of Worlds.
Meow. Gary. Is he really going to call him Gary?
I wouldn't be surprised it's Phil. My man, what you up to, Sean Blair? Oh, Surreal. He's talking to Surreal.
Yeah.
So I'm nearly finished redoing the Necrons. It was a big task, and you were saying, "Oh, don't do it. You don't need to do it." But I just had to do it. So basically, OSL like 8,000 points of Necrons. Lucy very kindly went through and weathered them all with the weathering powder for us.
I did.
That wasn't too hard, was it?
Nope. I tried to do some edge highlighting on that thing.
Oh yeah, well I put the katana in.
And yeah, I failed miserably, so I repainted it off and left it for him. I'm not bad at
when it's a sharp edge.
Yeah, but all the little details and whatnot, no.
So I've got a few bits of edge highlighting left to do on the Necrons. I drove myself insane doing the 10 Lich Guard with the shields.
Yeah.
I basically did 2, walked away, came back, did 2. The Doomsday Arc, doing the whole back piece, but then doing all 6 pieces of the cradle. Oh, and I've still got 2 Ghost Arcs to do as well.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, Lucy painted most of the Doomsday Arc up for me.
I did.
And then I highlighted it, and she's like, "Yeah, you'd never give me one of these again to paint up." So,
Jacob told Phil to paint him exactly like
Gary. He needs to. So, I'm going to finish off the Necrons in the next couple of days. I'm going to finish off those Shadow Spectres, and you just pulled your brush apart.
Yeah.
I've got a few more Primaris Marines to build. I've got 3 Aggressors, 3 Inceptors, and the Repulsor.
And my Sylvaneth to start.
Yes, the Sylvaneth will be getting done after that. Surreal says, do you magnetize or glue it all? Normally, I would magnetize, but a lot of the Necrons I got second hand. In fact, almost the entire Necron army I got second hand. The only thing I got new was a single box of 5 Immortals. Everything else I bought second hand, so it was all already glued. Otherwise, yes, I wouldn't hesitate to magnetize, and you know that I wouldn't. My Death Watch, though, because I have so much, I built a 2,000 point list. I don't know if it's going to work or not, and I built it and sprayed it. And I've been meaning to get it painted this month, but I've just ended up doing so much other stuff. It hasn't happened. So, yes, I think. Well, I'm not yawning and tired. Lucy Sylvaneth will be next. I've been rebasing my ogres actually, which means I need to actually glue them on the bases. I need to make a couple more. I need one. I don't know how many I need. Not a lot. I don't think I'm going to use the Banner Bearer from Destruction now, and I've got the spare Lead Belcher to probably convert up into something else. And I want a Firebelly, but I don't want to pay a fortune for him because he's an ogre mage.
Really?
Means that now I am in.
And you have some spells.
I'll have some spells and I can de-spell as well.
Oh, be first for both of us.
I know. What's going on? So yeah, I want a Fire Belly. But I also want to convert some of my ogres. I was thinking about going man-eaters and stuff, but with the fact that I'm going to have to go Gutbuster Allegiance, yeah, no. I was going to say the Ghost Ark is a big one. Death Marks and Immortals are cheap enough not to care. Yeah, which, to be honest, I got... what did I got? I got 10 Immortals already built. I might have bought 10 altogether. What foam do you use to transport? I don't. Not with everything. I actually use these boxes, and I've just sorted the rest of the armies out with there. So this one's going to be Lucy's for a Sylvaneth. So you pick these up from Organizer Box. I think the website is WHAM, WHAM. You can Google them, and these are about, I think, about $5.50, $5.60 each.
More like 7.
Or maybe it's about £7, and it's a £5 for delivery. Surreal shouting out as Harry. So in the top there's a tray with a number of different compartments, and you can normally fit about 4 or 5 models in each one. Why not just carry them in a rubbish bag? Because I'm not quite that bad, and space is an issue, and money to buy the amount of foam cases I would need. No, it's not possible. So basically, like, if I'm playing Space Marines, I can get like 2 Space Marines side by side and 1 across the top of them quite easily in here. Necron Warriors, you can get 4 in quite easily. With me Harlequins, I actually put 1 Harlequin in each because they're so nimble and spindly. And then in the bottom, there's loads and loads of space to put your tanks and everything. Just form what you play. Yeah, but the problem is I play most of my games in the house, and I used to have all my armies out on display, but I can't. I still do use my foam cases, but again, it depends on where I'm going and how much space. The other thing is as well, if I've got an army in a box like this, sometimes it's just easier to take this box to the club. Lucy's got a KR case and she keeps her main stuff that she uses in there. But she uses a pink one of these and puts 1 Retributor in each of these, in each of the top compartments, don't you?
I do. Sorry, I just nearly dropped my model.
Because the Retributors are quite big and chunky, so they're quite hard to get in the foam trays. But if I go to Warhammer World, absolutely, I would use it. One thing that you won't like to see though is my box of Bloodletters.
Oh.
Yeah, or my box of Tyranid Gaunts.
Yeah, I'm going to tell him. It's an empty box of... What?
It was a piece of galvanic meter, the galvanic incinerator terrain.
Yeah, it's literally just... all the Bloodletters are in that.
Yeah, basically. But no, the stuff that I'm most proud of, like the Blood Angels are on display, my Dark Artisans on display, my Harlequins are packed very, very carefully. My Eldar's packed pretty neatly as well. The Admech they were packed neatly in a smaller hard box until yesterday when it was really late and I kind of just went, and I maybe shouldn't have, but you know, you get the idea. So, should we roll a dice and see what mission we're going to play tomorrow and tell the viewers what we're going to...
Go on.
I need a dice. Where's the dice? He's there. We use one of your bright pink ones.
Yeah. Funny, Phil used them.
Oh, yeah. Phil used Corn the other day for the first time. He used the Chaos Spaceman Codex. And I was like, oh, you're going to use red dice, my red dice, mate, just obviously tie with the army. And he picked Lucy's bright pink ones up. He was like, these are pale red. 4. So the mission we are playing, I might even attempt a little bit of a live stream, see how we feel as well. So it's Battle for the Pass, which is basically what Border War was.
Oh, should we not try a different one? A new one?
It was a different deployment, but if you want to try a different one.
Yeah, something brand new.
6. Scorched Earth, which is the one where you can destroy your opponents.
Yep, we'll do that one.
Now, that might be quite good because you can deep strike, but I move fast.
Ah.
Oh, no, the corner don't.
No. Actually, you move fast compared to me. My average is a 4-inch
Council
move.
of Blood Battalion's only 110 points, Lucy.
Sort of. You can't take it.
You know what the Council of Blood did in the last game. Where it's where Bloodthirster fights, and if it kills something, the next one fights.
Oh.
And they can all use their command abilities.
Yeah. No.
Scarbrand.
Hell no.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Scarbrand is brutal in both Sigmar and 40k, and we will find out exactly why very, very soon. So yes, we will play Scorched Earth tomorrow. I'll see what we can do about the live stream. I'll see if I can rig Battleform versus KR multicase. No idea. You've got a KR, but you have a lot of models, and you double pack your Liberators. But anything else she doesn't, simply because the Liberators fit really well, like base top, base bottom on top of each other.
But I use my K for my Stormcast, and each model is like the size of the new Primaris Marines.
No, the Liberators are bigger. The Liberators are on 40mm bases. Primaris are on 32s.
Ah.
They're physically the same size, but
But I love the car multi-case. I was thinking of getting another one, to be honest.
So he's on a 32 base.
Yeah.
But like he's practically the same size.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend Kia.
That's from experience, though, isn't it?
Yeah, a battle form, is that the ones like Games Workshop do?
I don't know which ones the Battleform ones are, but I like them Primaris Marines. It's been a while since I've actually had them out and looked at them. Considering I've like dry brushed them.
They're the new ones.
Yeah, they're the new ones.
You missed them already.
I haven't used my Primaris Marines in a while.
They've been out a month.
2.5. Right, I think we're pretty much going to call it there. We're both knackered because we've been shopping and stuff today. We had a very long day yesterday. We both went to sleep about 11 o'clock, and then we got 9:30.
Yeah.
So we had a canny sleep, but yeah. So we'll also use a new battle mat tomorrow as well. Well, new to you guys because the battle reports have been filmed. You'll see them in a different order to what they've been filmed, basically, but there's a new battle mat.
Yeah. I don't know. See how I feel tomorrow, there might be some new terrain. No, there'll not be.
No, because you'll not get it. Well, technically you could, because you could spray grey and quick dry brush. Maybe. We'll see. We will see. But on that note, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. We've been here for 2 hours, 40 minutes, Lucy. Yeah. Discussing the General's Handbook and then like 40 minutes of hobby. So thanks very much for watching. Thank you all for supporting the channel. Thank you to everybody who has donated and helped support, even if it's been models. So Ali with the Ogres, Patrick with the AdMech, hell, even Phil with the Ogres as well.
If anyone at all fancies donating a L'Oreal, we would greatly appreciate it. Greatly.
On that note, actually, Lucy isn't going to keep hold of the Raptors and the Paladors and the Hunters from the box set.
No, I will be selling on everything apart from
Neve.
So if you're interested, just message.
Yeah, drop us a message if you're interested in buying them at a bit of a deal, because I think the starter sets normally go cheaper than what they would be to buy separately. So obviously we'll be doing a bit of a deal for the Stormcast half minus Neve. But basically, you've got 18 Raptors. You don't need another 3.
No.
She's got 6 Paladors. You do like them, but
6 is enough.
6 is enough, yeah. And she's got 10 Hunters already. So
I actually ran a pure Vanguard army yesterday, and it was so much fun.
You had a couple of things, because obviously you still had to take your Hunters were battle line, but you still had to take a 3rd battle line, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think did you have 1 unit of Judicators?
I had 2 units of Judicators, a unit of Liberators. That was in a couple of extra heroes. Yeah,
because obviously the 3 Paladors aren't based or anything yet, so you couldn't take them. So.
But it was still fun.
Yeah. So we will be back tomorrow. We will be playing that game. I'll try and get it live if I can, whilst also filming it as a battle report. So.
In the meantime, drop us a message if you'd like to see certain battles, characters, lists, anything like that. We'll see what we can do.
Lucy's got most of the Sigmar models multiple times, so she can run that. Corn, I can run most demon stuff with a few Bloodbound. Beast Claws, if you've got any suggestions, again, I can probably run them. And if I pull my finger out, I can probably get my Ogres glued onto the bases.
And actually something, I don't know if you'll be interested, but we are going very soon to do a Age of Sigmar game with 40k objectives.
With the cards?
Yes.
With the actual cards. Barry says, congrats on passing your exam, big lad. Thank you very much, mate. It was the last one. I've been waiting 6 weeks for the results, right? I got 91% in my exam, which meant for the full year, I got 93% overall. So that is year 1 of 3 towards being a qualified accountant. So it's going to be hard. I'm back at college in 2 weeks, 3 weeks? 3 weeks' time, but it's 2 nights a week, and it's going to be tiring. So I'm still going to try and put content on the channel, but you might be limited to sort of 2 videos with a hobby or review video per week. Definitely 1, possibly 2, depending on time constraints and stuff as well. Obviously, that's got to come first. But yes, thank you very much to everybody that support. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody.
See you next time.
Yep. See you next time.